10-second countdown. The global profession awakening will now begin. That cold, mechanical voice slammed down on everyone's heads. A blue screen of light exploded across the sky. All citizens aged 18, prepare for profession awakening. Profession ranks. F to SSS. Your profession decides your future. On the athletic field of Jiangxing No. 1 High School, thousands of people stood ramrod straight, every face tense. Today would decide how they'd spend the rest of their lives. I stood in the back row, no expression on my face. I'd been in this world for 18 years now. The first 8 years were no different from ordinary modern society. Then, 10 years ago, the dungeons descended. Monsters appeared. The awakening era began. Now, if you didn't have a profession, you'd just get crushed by this world. Lin Yi, you nervous? The chubby guy next to me clapped my shoulder. Once we awaken, we can dive into dungeons and rake in the cash. Think we could pull an A rank? Don't get your hopes up on A rank. Why not? You won $5 on the lottery yesterday. The fat guy froze. What's that got to do with my profession? You've used up all your luck for this lifetime. Get lost. While we were laughing, the light screen in the sky shifted. Awakening begins. A pillar of light crashed down. Boom. Awaken profession, warrior. Rank, C. The whole field burst into applause. C rank's not bad. Then, one after another, people stepped up. D rank, C rank, B rank. Every now and then an A rank popped up, and the field would go wild. Next, Lin Yi. Everyone turned to look at me. I walked up onto the awakening platform and pressed my palm against the crystal ball. And then, the whole world went silent. The crystal ball didn't react at all. Ha ha. The crowd was stunned at first, then broke into laughter. No way. He doesn't even get a profession. The teacher on the platform frowned. What's going on? And in that very second, when everyone had decided I was worthless, the sky cracked open. A golden pillar of light that had never appeared before pierced from the top of the heavens straight down into the earth. Boom. Every single dungeon system across the globe rang out at the same time. Unique hidden profession detected. Binding in progress. Binding successful. Congratulations, player Lin Yi. You have awakened the SSS-Rank hidden profession, dungeon creator. The people who'd been laughing the loudest just a moment ago, their smiles froze solid on their faces. Not a single one of them could get a word out. SSS, a hidden profession? The field was dead silent. The guys who'd just been pointing and laughing at me had their mouths hanging open wide enough to fit a fist. This has to be fake. How could an SSS rank show up at our school? In the global records, you can count SSS ranks on one hand. The way they looked at me had completely changed. Envy, shock, and a little bit of jealousy they couldn't hide. The teacher was so excited his hands were shaking. Lin Yi, do you know what you just awakened? I stared at the panel that had popped up in front of me. Profession, dungeon creator. SSS, unique hidden profession. Abilities, dungeon editing, monster creation, reward adjustment, rule modification. Other people awakened and got the power to fight monsters. What I got was the power to create worlds. Others had to dive into dungeons to fight over resources. I was the one who created the resources. Teacher, I know. My tone was calm, but inside I was in turmoil. This profession was even more insane than I'd imagined. Good. This is amazing. The teacher laughed out loud. Jiangxing produced an SSS this year. This news needs to spread across the whole country. The words had barely left his mouth when everyone's wristbands buzzed at the same time. Global announcement. Congratulations to Huaxia region player Lin Yi for awakening the SSS rank unique hidden profession, dungeon creator. Reward, global reputation plus 1,000. Reward, special item, dungeon core. Boom. The whole world shook. In a dungeon base in America, several top-tier players were grinding through an A-rank dungeon when their wristbands all lit up at once. The blonde young man leading them stopped. An SS-rank Thunder Mage, hailed as their once-in-a-century genius. After reading the announcement, his face darkened. Dungeon creator, what the hell is that? Can't find anything. There's no record of it in history. Someone beside him said, shaking his head. The young man sneered. Doesn't matter what the profession is. He's a rookie who just awakened. Level 1. No matter how amazing the profession, he still has to grind his way up. At a base somewhere in Japan, a young woman stared at the announcement, her eyes cold as ice. SSS, interesting. Looks like this generation is going to be exciting. And me? I had no idea I'd already caught the attention of the entire world. I was just looking down at the dungeon core in my hand. Dungeon core. Create your own exclusive dungeon. Restriction. Entry-level professionals can only create E-rank dungeons. Bind. Bind. Not a moment of hesitation. The core dissolved into streaming light and burrowed into my body. Finding successful. Profession exclusive quest. Create your first dungeon. Requirement. At least 10 players must enter. Reward. Profession level up plus a random SS rank ability. Level up? And a free SS rank ability? My eyes lit up. This world was starting to get interesting. School let out. I went home. Shut the door. I opened my profession interface. Dungeon editing space. Activated. My consciousness sank, dropping into pure nothingness. No sky, no ground, nothing at all. Welcome to the creation space. Current resources, 100 creation points. 100 points. What can I even do with that? Recommended template, Goblin Cave. E-rank, 100 monsters. Boss, Goblin King. Cost, 80 points. I shook my head. Too boring. My first dungeon, and I'm supposed to make something this ordinary? No way. My eyes landed on those 3 words in the editing bar, free creation. I typed straight into it. Dungeon name, Apocalyptic Ruins. Rank, unknown. Monsters, unknown. Boss, unknown. The system flipped out on the spot. Warning, insufficient host permissions. Creating an unknown dungeon has a 99% failure chance. I grinned. Failure? I love challenging failure odds. Keep going. Consuming 100 creation points. Creation beginning. Boom. The entire space began to shake violently, and system prompts spilled out one after another, stacking on top of each other. Special dungeon concept detected. Dungeon rules changing. Rank recalculating. E to D, D to C, C to B, B to A. I watched the rank climb up level by level, my eyes growing brighter and brighter. Finally, the system suddenly went quiet. Silence for a few seconds. Then a golden prompt floated up. Congratulations, host. You have successfully created a special dungeon. Name, Apocalyptic Ruins. Rank S. First creation reward, 1 SS rank ability draw. I froze for half a beat, then burst out laughing. So it turns out the dungeon rules of this world really can be changed by me. At midnight, players around the globe were still whispering one name. Lin, SSS-Rank. Dungeon creator. The news was like a bomb, flipping the whole world upside down. Forums and social platforms were completely flooded. Huaxiao produced an SSS. What kind of profession is dungeon creator anyway? He can create dungeons? Is this real? Nobody knew the answer. And at that moment, I had already finished making my first dungeon. In my room, I stared at the panel only I could see. Dungeon name, Apocalyptic Ruins. Rank S. Recommended entry, levels 10 to 30. Player count, 100. Current status, not open. The threshold's too high, I muttered, frowning. Players who'd just awakened wouldn't be able to get in at all. What I wanted was simple. Get 10 people into the dungeon, complete the quest, and level up. So the door had to be open wider. Modify the rules. Please choose a modification direction. 1. Lower the level. 2. Increase rewards. 3. Change monsters. 4. Add mechanics. I didn't even think about it. All of them. The system rarely lagged, but this time it froze for a second. Reminder, modifying multiple options at once will increase the dungeon's chance of losing control. I laughed. Losing control? This is my dungeon. You think it can turn against me? Modification beginning. 10 minutes later. Apocalyptic Ruins. Levels 1 to 30. Players 10 to 100. Special mechanic. The more dangerous it is, the higher the rewards. Hidden reward. Unknown. I opened the global dungeon platform and uploaded it. Make it public? Public. Confirm publication? Confirm. Boom. The platform shuttered. New dungeon detected. Publisher, Lin. Rank, S. First time opening. Players across the globe were stunned on the spot. Someone published an S-rank dungeon? Are they insane? The highest ranked dungeon in the world right now is only A rank. Who has what it takes to create an S rank? Countless people clicked in to look, and when they saw those 2 words, the publisher's name, they all fell silent. At the Professionals Association in Jiangcheng, the staff working overtime suddenly heard their detection equipment blaring wildly. Director, we've detected an anomalous dungeon. What rank? The man swallowed hard. S rank. The office fell into instant, dead silence. Who published it? Lin. The director shot to his feet. Contact him immediately. A talent like this must be protected. Meanwhile, on my end, I was watching the number of registrations. 1 minute. 1,000. 5,000. 10,000. Still climbing. Quest progress. 9,999 out of 10. Me. This seemed, well, a little too easy. Just as I was about to close the page, a special application popped up. Player, Night God, requests entry. Level, 1. Profession, unknown. My eyebrow lifted. Night God. That name sounded familiar. In my previous life, This was the ID used by that mysterious player ranked third among the world's 10 strongest. Interesting. A future big shot who's only level 1 right now. Approve. The first S-rank dungeon is about to open. 100 participants. Countdown. 60 seconds. The whole world was buzzing. Everyone understood that the people going in this time might be the ones to rewrite the entire global landscape. And I stood behind the scenes, watching the entrance slowly light up. Welcome to my world. 3, 2, 1. Dungeon open. Boom. A massive black vortex exploded across the global dungeon lobby, and all 100 players who'd successfully registered were sucked in at once. This is the S-rank dungeon. A warrior opened his eyes, and his face instantly changed. An abandoned city. Charred cars. Gray clouds pressing down overhead, the air thick with the stench of rot. This is way too realistic. This is really just a dungeon. The mage beside him swallowed. Rules popped up in front of everyone. Apocalyptic ruins. 1. Survive 72 hours. 2. Kill infected creatures to earn points. 3. The player with the highest points gets the hidden reward. Note: death here won't actually kill you, but the mental agony is 100% real. When they saw that last line, every face in the crowd went pale. 100% mental agony. So getting killed once feels like actually dying? Nobody said a word. Fear crawled up their spines. Outside the dungeon, the association had set up a global live stream. Viewers poured in like a flood. 1 million, 5 million, 10 million. The comment section filled up the whole screen. First time seeing a player create a dungeon. What kind of monster is this Lin? Please don't let this be too crazy. Inside the dungeon, the 100 players began exploring. They were all elites from various regions, the highest among them at level 8. Only the guy with the ID Night God stayed silent the whole time. He held an ordinary dagger, and his profession slot read unknown. Someone couldn't resist asking, "Hey man, what's your profession?" Night God ignored him. He just stared off into the distance. Suddenly, he spoke. "Here they come." What? The ground shook. Boom. At the end of the street, a dark mass came surging out. Infected. Level 5. Quantity, 500. 500 of them. Are you kidding me? We just got here. The monsters shrieked and lunged forward. The players had no choice but to hold their ground. Fireball. Charge. Arrow rain. At first, they managed to hold on. But soon they realized something was wrong. These infected could learn. A warrior cut one down, and the very next second, all the infected around him began dodging his blade. The monsters have brains? That's impossible. The live stream exploded. This dungeon is too twisted. A normal S rank wouldn't be like this. What exactly did Lin Yi design? In the creation space, I watched all this and felt pretty satisfied. Not bad on the adaptability. The infected I created had a growth mechanic. Whatever attack they took, they'd evolve defenses against it. That was the core of an S rank. Just as I was thinking that, a system prompt jumped out. Player death detected. Dungeon difficulty rating increased. I looked at the screen. A player was surrounded by the infected, about to be torn apart. I didn't lift a finger. Rules were rules. The weak had no right to the reward. But in the next second, Night God moved. His dagger swept lightly. No skill, no fanfare. The dozen or so infected near him all dropped. The live stream went instantly quiet. What kind of move was that? Isn't he level 1? Why is he so strong? I narrowed my eyes too. Player, Night God. Level 1. Profession, unknown. Hidden status, cannot be viewed. I smiled. Just as I thought. The man who'll be ranked third in the future is already hiding his cards now. And just when everyone thought they'd caught a breather, the sky cracked open. A massive figure slowly descended. Boom. The entire city trembled. Every player looked up, their faces drained of blood. Special event triggered. The apocalypse descends. Hidden boss appears early. Infected sovereign. Level unknown. Abilities, virus control, infinite evolution. The live stream was completely stunned. A hidden boss. Showing up on the first day? Are you kidding me? In the creation space, the system was blaring alarms like crazy. Warning. The current players cannot defeat this boss. Rule modification recommended. I looked at the screen, and instead I smiled. Can't beat it? Then let them create their own miracle. I raised my hand and opened the permissions. Rule modification. New edition, extreme challenge reward. Whoever defeats the infected sovereign will receive SSS-Rank profession advancement material. Players around the globe. The live stream. The association crew. I looked down at that sea of desperate faces and said softly, "If you want to get stronger, you have to gamble your life. Defeat the infected sovereign to get SSS rank advancement material." The moment the announcement dropped, every player went wild. The livestream comments straight up exploded. Is this real? Beating one hidden boss gets you SSS material? Linya's dungeon rewards are insane. At association headquarters, a group of executives stared at the livestream, each face darker than the last. This dungeon is no longer an ordinary S rank, an old man said, lowering his voice. It can grow on its own, and it adjusts the difficulty based on player performance. Then this infected sovereign, can the players actually beat it? The whole room fell silent. One look at that monster descending from the sky on the screen, and the answer was obvious. They couldn't. Inside the dungeon, the 100 players looked up at the boss in despair. The infected sovereign stood over 10 meters tall, its entire body covered in black carapace. With every breath it took, black virus seeped out into the surrounding air. Level unknown. Health unknown. Attack unknown. Unknown meant an absolute gap in power. Run! Someone shouted. Everyone began backing away. They were just rookies, the highest among them only level 8. Against something like this, they had zero chance. But one figure stepped forward. Night God. Gripping his dagger, he walked toward the infected sovereign one step at a time. Are you insane? That's a hidden boss. You're only level 1. Night God didn't turn back. He just left behind a flat remark. If you don't dare to gamble now, you'll never earn the right to stand at the top later. The words fell, and he was gone. The next second, he appeared behind the boss. His dagger struck out. Squelch. Black blood spurted. Minus 327. The moment the damage number popped up, everyone's pupils shrank. A level 1 player dealt over 300 damage. The livestream blew up. Who is this Night God? Has to be a hidden profession, right? Definitely a pro's smurf account. The infected sovereign flew into a rage and slammed down its massive palm. Boom. The ground cracked wide open. Night God flickered aside, narrowly dodging. But the very next second, the wounds on the boss's body rapidly healed. Infected sovereign gained ability, rapid regeneration. Everyone's hearts sank halfway. It heals. And the harder we hit it, the faster it evolves. How are we supposed to fight this? In the creation space, I watched the battle, my eyes growing brighter and brighter. This Night God really was something. He was only level 1, yet he could precisely read the boss's attacks and calculate his movements ahead of time. The strong of the future really don't get there on luck alone. Just then, the system popped up a prompt. Player Night God's performance detected. Hidden rating increased. Dungeon difficulty raised. I raised an eyebrow. It does that too. Excellent players trigger hidden mechanics, and the dungeon automatically UPS the ante. I smiled. This is getting more and more interesting. Inside the dungeon, Night God suddenly stopped and stared at the boss. Its weak point is on its chest. Everyone was startled. Every time it heals, it draws power from its core. The core is right there in its chest. He glanced at the others. But someone has to draw it away. The whole group fell silent. They all understood. This was a suicide mission. Whoever lured the boss would die. In the moment of hesitation, a shield warrior stepped forward. I'll do it. Night God looked at him. You'll die? The shield warrior smiled. What professional ever avoids death? If I don't even have that much guts, then what's the point of talking about getting stronger? The battle began. The shield warrior charged in. Taunt. The boss's attention was yanked away. Night God teleported, diving straight for the core in its chest. But just as he was about to reach it, a third eye opened on the infected sovereign's forehead. Hidden ability, mental lock. Night God's body seized up. Not good. Boom. A terrifying force erupted, blasting him straight backward. Every face went pale. Had they failed? At that moment, a voice rang out. Looks like I still have to lend a hand. Everyone froze. That wasn't a player's voice. It was the dungeon creator. It was me. On the global livestream feed, a brand new announcement popped up. Dungeon creator has entered observation mode. Hidden support activated. In the dungeon sky, a figure slowly materialized. No gear, no weapon, just standing there. And the infected sovereign actually stopped. Because it sensed the aura of its creator. I looked at it and spoke calmly. I didn't create you to go around bullying rookies. I raised my hand. Changed the rules. Infected sovereign, new weakness added. Core exposed for 3 seconds. The whole world. The live stream. The association. He just changed the boss's mechanics directly? In that instant, everyone finally understood just how terrifying the dungeon creator profession truly was. The infected sovereign's weakness has been modified. Core exposed for 3 seconds. The cold prompt echoed throughout the dungeon. Every player froze, doubting their own ears. Change a dungeon's rules? That was something only a creator could do. And Lin Yi, a rookie who had just awakened, could casually alter the boss mechanics inside an S-rank dungeon. The live stream went absolutely insane. What kind of ability is this? Everyone else plays dungeons, and he edits them? How is anyone supposed to compete after this? Countless players realized for the first time that even among SSS ranks, there was a gap, and Linya's profession simply couldn't be measured by ordinary standards. Inside the dungeon, the infected sovereign struck again. Boom. A giant fist smashed toward the shield warrior. Block it, the shield warrior roared. Iron defense. His shield flared with light, but the gap was too vast. One blow, and both his arms shattered as he was blasted away. Now, Night God seized the chance, his body turning into a blur as he rushed the chest. 3 seconds. Only 3 seconds. That was the opening I created for them. First second, closing in. Second, dagger plunging in. Third second, skill erupting. Shadow kill. Boom. Black energy exploded, and the boss's chest split apart, exposing a massive core. Weak point critical hit. Damage increased by 500%. Minus 52,341. The whole crowd gasped. 50,000 damage. Dealt by a level 1 player. The infected sovereign thrashed wildly. It never imagined that it, an S-rank boss, would be driven to this point by a bunch of rookies. Warning, boss entering berserk state. The next second, the black virus swept across the entire city. We're done for. Area attack. There's no dodging it. In the instant despair spread, I spoke again. Pause. The word dropped, and the whole dungeon seemed to freeze in time. The players held their positions. The virus hung suspended in midair, and the boss stiffened where it stood. The global live stream went instantly silent. In the creation space, the system flashed frantically. Host detected using advanced permissions. 50 creation points consumed. Rule modification complete. I said calmly. For their first dungeon, I should give the players a little something. I tapped a finger. New rule added. Player death protection, lasting 10 seconds. Time resumed. The virus burst outward. But a layer of golden shield lit up on every player at the same moment. Boom. The attack ended. Everyone was alive. The live stream was silent for a few seconds, then completely erupted. He can change that too? He's basically a GM. Who would dare mess with this profession now? The infected sovereign was already gravely wounded. Night God looked toward where I'd appeared, his expression complicated. He knew that if it hadn't been for me, everyone here would have been finished. Why did you help us? He asked. I smiled. Because a dungeon needs someone to clear it, not a total wipe. Night God was silent for a moment. You're strong. I shook my head. No, my profession is strong. That was the truth. The potential of the dungeon creator went far beyond just this. At last, Night God struck again. Shadow kill. The dagger pierced through the core. Boom. The infected sovereign let out one final roar, and its massive body crashed to the ground. Congratulations on completing the hidden challenge. S-rank hidden boss slain. Rewards. SS-rank material, evolution core. A-rank equipment, shadow blade. Special reward, unknown. A global announcement rang out at the same time. Congratulations to player Night God for the first ever slaying of an S-rank hidden boss. Reputation plus 500. Title obtained, Sovereign Slayer. The whole world shook. But nobody's attention was on Night God at all. Because they all understood that the one truly changing the era wasn't the man who killed the boss, but the man who created the dungeon. Linyi. Ding. Dungeon complete. Host quest achieved. Profession level up. New permission obtained. Dungeon replication. 1 SS rank ability draw. A golden wheel appeared before my eyes. Begin to draw? Begin. The wheel spun madly. 10 seconds, 20 seconds, a full minute. Stop. Golden light burst out. Congratulations on obtaining SS rank ability, world template. You can replicate the rules of the real world to create authentic dungeons. I froze for half a beat. My expression changed. If the dungeons before had just been a game, then now, I could create real miniature worlds. SS rank ability, world template. Replicable rules, weather, terrain, ecology, base energy. Restriction, cannot create life. I stared at the ability description, my eyes growing brighter and brighter. The truly terrifying part of the dungeon creator was only just beginning to surface. Before, making the apocalyptic ruins had just been applying a system template. Now it was different. With the world template, the mountains, the rivers, the environment, the rules, all of it was mine to decide. If I keep leveling up, could I even create an entire civilization? At that thought, I drew a deep breath. This road was even longer than I'd imagined. Meanwhile, on the other side, the global dungeon platform had completely blown up. The reason was simple. The rating for apocalyptic ruins had updated. Before, S rank. Now, special world-class dungeon. Rank number 1 worldwide. Countless players frantically applied to enter. But the next second, everyone received a prompt. Dungeon on cooldown. Opens in 3 days. 3 days? Why can't I go in now? I've got all my gear ready. The forums exploded on the spot. One post shot to the top. How should we evaluate SSS-Rank professional Lin? Likes. Over 999,999. He's not even a player anymore. He's a dungeon manufacturer. Everyone else grinds dungeons the hard way. He just builds them. This profession is going to be absolutely unbeatable in the late game. In the Huaxia Association conference room, the atmosphere was suffocating. Have we figured out Lin Ye's background? We have. Ordinary family, no connections, no special experiences of any kind before awakening. The whole room fell silent. A young man with no background at all had become the focus of the entire world within a single day. What did that mean? It meant he had to be protected. Assign someone to guard him personally. At the same time, invite him to join the National Professional Program. A talent like this must never be snatched up by another faction first. And on my end, I had no idea the outside world had been turned upside down, because I was busy studying my new ability. World template activated. My consciousness dropped into a void. There was nothing at all. I reached out my hand. Create terrain. Boom. The void trembled, and a mountain peak rose up from the ground. Create a river. With a rush, clear water began to flow. Add weather. A sun rose into the sky. In just 1 minute, the rough outline of a small world had taken shape. World template completion, 5%. I frowned. Only 5%. A complete world requires a massive amount of rules. Current creation points insufficient. I nodded. It seemed that to build a true world, I'd have to keep stacking up my strength. Just then, a prompt rang out. External request detected. A player is applying to enter the creation space. I paused. The creation space? How could anyone possibly enter here? I opened the permissions. A name floated up. Night God. My eyes flickered. Him. After the dungeon ended, Night God had been standing on the open ground, the shadow blade in his hand giving off a cold glint. His mind was full of that scene when I appeared. Changing rules, stopping time, altering the boss mechanics. He'd never seen power like that before. So he made a decision. To meet me. Not for a reward. He just wanted to confirm one thing. Is this era about to change because of a single person? In the creation space, the two of us came face to face for the first time. Night God stared at me, silent for a few seconds. Do you know what you've done? I raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? Every top faction in the world is going to be after you. Your profession is enough to rewrite the global order. I smiled. And Night God was dead serious. Join my team. I'll protect you. I paused, then burst out laughing. Protect me. He nodded. From here on, plenty of people are going to want to kill you. I looked at this future third strongest man and slowly spoke. Aren't you getting one thing wrong? Night God frowned. I lifted my head. If they want to kill me, they have to find me first. And me? I can create a world they'll never be able to enter. Night God was silent. After a long while, he smiled. Just as I thought. You really are different from ordinary people. Just as the two of us were talking, a global announcement thundered out again. Warning. Unknown spatial fluctuation detected. A large hidden dungeon is about to appear. Rank, SSS. Location, random worldwide. Every player was shocked. An SSS-Rank dungeon? For the first time ever. But nobody knew the reason this dungeon had appeared. It was my world template. My power had already begun to shake the entire world. Warning. Anomaly in world rules detected. Large hidden dungeon generating. Rank assessment, SSS. Estimated opening, 24 hours. The wristbands of professionals across the globe rang out at the same time. In that moment, everyone stopped what they were doing. An SSS-Rank dungeon. What did those 4 letters mean? They meant the highest difficulty humanity could currently imagine. Over the past 10 years, countless dungeons had appeared around the world, but the highest had only reached SS rank. And now, the first SSS had appeared. At Huaxia Association headquarters, in the conference room, the executives' faces grew darker one after another. Have we traced the source? The staff member shook his head. Can't pinpoint it. It's like it appeared out of thin air. It doesn't belong to any known dungeon system. In the silence, a researcher suddenly spoke up. There's one possibility. Everyone looked at him. This dungeon may have been generated because of a certain special professional. The conference room went quiet. In everyone's mind, a single name popped up at the same time. Lin Yi. And at that moment, I was busy studying my world template. The system suddenly popped up a prompt. Unknown dungeon detected. The dungeon's rules resonate with the host's abilities. View? I paused. View. A massive virtual screen unfolded. SSS-Rank dungeon, Twilight of the Gods. Type: World War. Description: a once glorious divine civilization heading toward destruction. A broken divine kingdom awaits an heir. Entry count: 10,000. Rewards: unknown. My eyes narrowed. Twilight of the Gods. A divine civilization? This didn't look like an ordinary dungeon. System: where did this dungeon come from? After the world template was activated, a rule collision occurred, causing hidden world fragments to fuse and form a special dungeon. I understood. My ability had already begun to affect reality. A day later, the entrance opened. Players around the globe were in an uproar, and top professionals scrambled for slots. Because everyone knew that the people going in this time might very well rewrite the future. At the A-Rank Professionals Alliance in America, a young man stared at the dungeon info and sneered. An SSS finally shows up. This time, first place has to be ours. Ren. SS-Rank Thundermaster. A genius ranked among the world's top 10. In Japan, beneath the cherry blossoms, that mysterious young woman gazed at the entrance. A divine civilization, huh? Perhaps what I'm looking for is in there. Here in Huaxia, I looked at the registration list and noticed a problem. I couldn't register my own name. The host holds a special identity and cannot enter a world outside the rules of their own creation. Me? I create the dungeon myself, and then I can't even go in? What kind of nonsense was that? Luckily, the next second, the system popped up again. The SSS dungeon has formed a connection with the world template. The host has obtained special permissions and may enter the dungeon. I smiled. Now that's more like it. On the day of entry, the global live stream went live. 10,000 slots were snatched up in the blink of an eye. A few drew the most attention. Run, the SS-Rank Thundermaster. Night God, the hidden profession. And me. A flash of white light, and everyone entered the dungeon. The next second, the whole crowd was stunned. Because before them was a genuine world. A boundless continent, floating temples, and a colossal fallen statue of a god hanging in the sky. Welcome to Twilight of the Gods. Main quest: find the God King's ruins and inherit divine power. Dungeon duration: 30 days. This. Everyone was dumbfounded. This didn't look like a dungeon at all. It was clearly a real world. I stood among the crowd, my brow slightly furrowed. Others couldn't see it, but I could. The rules here were extremely similar to my world template. In fact, some of the rules came directly from my ability. Could it be? I looked up at the sky. Was this world also created by someone once? At that moment, the ground shook. In the distance, a broken temple slowly rose. Every player received a prompt. Hidden event unlocked. Find the lost world creator. Reward: creation authority fragment. My pupils shrank. A world creator? An authority fragment? In that moment, I realized that behind this world, there might be an earth-shattering secret hidden away. And my profession, perhaps this wasn't the first time it had appeared. Hidden quest: find the lost world creator. Reward: creation authority fragment. The moment the prompt appeared, everyone froze. Because this SSS dungeon was different from every dungeon before it. Ordinary dungeons had only quests, monsters, and rewards. But here, it was like a world that had truly once existed. A world creator? Night God stared at the prompt in the sky, and for the first time his expression changed. This dungeon might not have been made by the system. I looked at him. What do you know? He was silent for a moment. I once entered a special dungeon. There was a line written inside it. Dungeons aren't games. They're the wreckage of certain worlds after they've shattered. My gaze sharpened. The wreckage of worlds? That immediately made me think of my own profession. Dungeon creator. Could it be that so-called dungeons were, in essence, sealed away worlds, one after another? While everyone was still pondering, the distant temple suddenly burst with light. Boom. A massive stone gate slowly opened, and an aged voice came from within. At last, has a new creator finally appeared? Who's there? Come out. A phantom figure walked out of the temple. A white-haired old man in a tattered robe, holding a broken scepter. Unknown existence. Level: undetectable. Identity: unknown. The system couldn't even scan him. Every player instantly went on guard. Only I stared him down. Because I saw a line of information no one else could see. Scanning: same origin power detected. Confirmed. This being once held the dungeon creator profession. My heart lurched. A former dungeon creator? Which meant I wasn't the first? The old man looked at me, his smile complicated. How many years has it been? At last, someone has reached this point again. I stepped forward. Who are you? I was once, he said slowly. Also a dungeon creator. Boom. That one sentence made the whole crowd explode. The live stream instantly blew up. What? An NPC is also a creator? What on earth is the deal with this dungeon? The old man continued. Long ago, I created countless worlds, countless dungeons. I thought I controlled everything. Until, he paused. The sky suddenly darkened, and countless cracks appeared. Until one day, higher-tier existences appeared. They destroyed my world and turned my civilization into a dungeon. The whole crowd fell silent. My expression turned grave. Higher-tier existences. The old man nodded. They call themselves the Observers. The Observers. Those two words sent a chill running up my spine, because I suddenly realized this world might be far larger than I'd imagined. The global dungeons, the profession awakenings, the system, even my own cheat ability, none of it might be a coincidence. The old man looked at me. Your profession is even more special than mine. I frowned. Why? He reached out his hand, and a light appeared. The creation authority fragment, hovering in midair. In my era, creators could only make worlds. But in your era, you can change the rules. You aren't a creator. You are. He paused. A rule modifier. Special item detected. Creation authority fragment. Absorb? I didn't rush to answer, and instead asked, and after I absorb it? The old man smiled. You'll see the truth, and you'll become the target they set their sights on. Outside the dungeon, at the Global Monitoring Center, every piece of equipment suddenly went black. The next second, an unknown symbol appeared. The staff member's face went pale. What is this? Nobody could answer, because the location where that symbol appeared was the SSS dungeon Lin was in. Inside the dungeon, I reached out and grasped the fragment. Absorb. Boom. The entire twilight of the gods began to quake. The sky shattered. The earth trembled. Every player received a prompt. The world's rules are changing. Creation authority is being reassigned. A new world manager has been born. Lin. Title obtained. First-generation world controller. Across the globe, every professional's wristband popped up an announcement at the same time. Warning. An existence with authority beyond SSS-Rank has been detected. World level being reassessed. Unknown rank. In that moment, everyone understood. The SSS-Rank dungeon had only been the beginning. The true era had only now arrived. Authority reassigned. A new world manager is born. The string of prompts left every player utterly stunned. They looked at me standing before the temple, their expressions slowly shifting from shock to awe, because they had just watched, with their own eyes, a player obtain control over an entire world. What level of power even is this? Rin stood in the crowd, his fist clenched tight. He'd always believed that awakening SS rank put him at the very top of the younger generation. But now, for the first time, he felt the gap. It wasn't a gap in level. It was a gap in tier. One was someone who used power. The other was someone who set the rules. They weren't the same thing at all. Night God looked at me, silent for a long while. You're looking less and less like a player. I glanced at him. Then what do I look like? He looked up at the sky, like the master of this world. At that very moment, boom. The sky tore open, and a massive black rift appeared. The entire twilight of the gods shook violently. The old man's face changed drastically. This is bad. They're here. I frowned. The observers? They've noticed the authority transfer. The old man's voice tightened. They won't allow a new controller to emerge. The next second, within the rift, a giant eye slowly opened. No body, no features, just an eye covering the entire sky. The moment every player saw this, their bodies instantly froze. Because for the first time, the system popped up a fear prompt. Warning, unknown existence detected. Level, cannot be assessed. Danger level, beyond SSS. The live stream fell dead silent. Nobody posted a single comment. Because they didn't know what to say. SSS had already been the limit of their understanding, and now something beyond SSS had appeared. That eye stared at me, and a cold voice descended. New creator, hand over the authority. Otherwise, your world will become the next dungeon. Every player went pale. So this was an observer? One sentence could decide the life or death of an entire world. I didn't back down. I looked up at it. You people really love making dungeons, don't you? It didn't answer. I continued. Turning complete worlds into games, treating countless lives as data. Do you find that fun? The eye in the sky flickered. Life is merely a variable within the rules. A world is merely an experimental sample. You will come to understand this too. I smiled. Sorry, I don't much like being an experiment. As the words fell, I opened my authority panel. World control authority. Current rules. Space. Time flow rate. Environment. Dungeon rules. The moment every player saw this, they were completely dumbfounded. Can he really change a world? Is this even a profession? For the first time, the observer showed a flicker of emotion. You've only just obtained the authority, and you think you can oppose us? The crowd froze. I'd actually admitted it. The next second, I continued. But this is my world. And in my world, the rules are written by me. World Rule Modification. New edition, Creator's Domain. Within the domain, the creator's authority is increased by 100%. Boom. The entire Twilight of the Gods was instantly wrapped in golden light. That giant eye retreated for the first time. The observer was silent for a long while. Then its voice rang out again. Interesting. A rule modifier who's only just been born, able to reach this level. It seems this era has finally changed a little. The rift closed, and it vanished. Before leaving, it left behind a single sentence. Linyi, we will meet again. Next time, you won't be so lucky. The world returned to calm. Every player looked at me, and no one spoke. Because they knew that after today, the global order had completely changed. Ding. Special event complete. Observer projection repelled. Rewards. Creation points plus 10,000. Authority increased. New ability. Rule replication. Rule replication. You can copy the rules of other worlds and merge them into your own dungeons. I looked at the new ability, the corner of my mouth lifting. Before, I could only create dungeons. Now, I was starting to earn the right to create worlds. A countdown to the dungeon's closure appeared. The SSS-Rank dungeon is about to close. All players will be teleported in 10 minutes. Just then, the system popped up one final prompt. Hidden world coordinates detected. Begin exploration? I looked at that string of coordinates, and my expression shifted slightly. Because the location it pointed to was, of all places, Blue Star. Hidden world coordinates detected. Location, Blue Star. Begin exploration? I stared at the prompt, and my whole being sank. Blue Star. There was a dungeon hidden here? What did that mean? It meant that the world we'd lived in for 18 years might also just be part of some enormous dungeon. Begin. I didn't hesitate. A map unfolded. The entire terrain of Blue Star appeared. Mountains, oceans, cities, all of it crystal clear. But deep within Blue Star, a red marker appeared. Hidden dungeon entrance, ancient ruins. Rank, unknown. Status, not activated. I frowned. Right here on Blue Star? Why has no one ever found it before? This dungeon is concealed by special rules. Only those holding world authority can view it. I understood. Ordinary players couldn't see it. Ordinary professionals couldn't touch it. Only me, because I'd obtained creation authority. 10 minutes later, the SSS dungeon ended, and everyone was sent back to reality. Boom. A global announcement rang out. Congratulations on completing the SSS-Rank dungeon. Top contributor, Linyi. Reward, World Authority Fragment. The world shook once more. But this time, everyone's attention no longer fell on the rewards. It fell on me. Jiangqin. The moment I stepped out of the dungeon hall, a swarm of reporters surrounded me. Mr. Linyi, what exactly is your SSS profession? Can you really create dungeons? Will you reveal your abilities? I didn't stop walking. I left straight away. There was something more urgent now. The hidden dungeon on Blue Star. I had to investigate it. That night, a desolate mountain. I'd followed the map here. It looked utterly unremarkable. No monsters, no entrance, not even a trace of energy fluctuation. But I knew there was something hidden beneath it. Come out, I said calmly. Space rippled. An ancient stone gate slowly appeared. 4 characters were carved on the gate. Forbidden zone for humanity. I reached out and touched it. Boom. A flood of information surged into my mind. Identity verified. World authority holder. Confirmed. Ancient ruins opening. Behind the stone gate was not a dark cave. It was a city that had slept for 10,000 years. Massive structures, broken machinery, and countless fallen statues. I walked in, and system prompts came one after another. Ancient technology discovered. Unknown civilization records discovered. World rule fragment discovered. The deeper I went, the more stunned I became. Because the things left here proved one thing. Blue Star had once possessed a highly advanced civilization, and they too had made contact with the power of dungeons. Suddenly, a broken projection appeared. A figure in ancient armor slowly opened its eyes. Successor, you've finally come. I halted. Who are you? The first-generation professional of Blue Star. And also, the previous World Guardian. My expression changed. The previous one? The projection nodded. Before you, Blue Star produced a rule controller. But he failed. Why? The projection was silent for a moment. Because of the observers. They discovered that Blue Star had growth potential. So they created the dungeon system, letting everyone continuously grow stronger. waiting for someone who could break through the rules to appear. I frowned. So, the profession awakenings, the dungeon descent, all of it was arranged by them. The projection didn't deny it. Yes, that answer made me feel pressure for the first time. So everyone's fate had already been part of someone else's plan. But the next second, I smiled. Arranged? Then what if someone breaks out of the plan? The projection looked at me. That's exactly why you are the one they fear most. Ding. Hidden quest unlocked. Break the world shackles. Objective. Find the 7 world cores. Reward. Final authority. I looked at the quest, my expression slowly hardening. 7 world cores? Then I'd find them. I wanted to see just what these so-called observers really were. At that moment, every player around the globe suddenly received a prompt. Emergency announcement. An unknown dungeon entrance has appeared on Blue Star. Rank, unknown. Location, Huaxia region. All players may apply to explore. In an instant, the whole world was in an uproar, and every faction sprang into action. Because they didn't know that the dungeon appearing this time wasn't an ordinary dungeon. It was the true secret of Blue Star. I gazed at the distant sky, where countless powerhouses were rushing this way. I smiled softly. Looks like the excitement is beginning. Unknown Blue Star dungeon open. Rank, unknown. Location, Huaxia region. Open duration, 12 hours. The wristbands of professionals worldwide all popped up this message at once. Within a minute, the world shook. Unknown rank. The system can't even assess it. What on earth is this thing? Countless players discussed it frantically. Because over the past 10 years, dungeon ranks had always been perfectly clear. F to SSS, 9 tiers. But now, an unrateable dungeon had appeared. That meant it had already surpassed the existing system. The top factions of every nation moved at the same time. America, Professionals Alliance headquarters. Ren looked at the teleportation roster. Prepare to move out. The person beside him hesitated. That dungeon's in the Huaxia region. They won't let other countries in. Ren sneered. Dungeons belong to all of humanity. The resources inside, whoever's strongest takes them. Japan, the mysterious young woman put away her weapon. It's finally appeared. I've waited a long time for this day. Her profession, SS-Rank Divine Shadow, wielded the power to control shadows. Top 10 in the world. Huaxia, the Professionals Association, the atmosphere in the conference room was suffocating. The world's powerhouses are all coming. What do we do? Everyone's gaze fell on me, on the screen, because they knew that only one person could truly control this dungeon. At the desolate mountain, I stood before the entrance to the ancient ruins. A large crowd of players had already gathered around me. The familiar night god, and top professionals from across the globe. Rin stepped forward. Lin Yi, open the dungeon and let everyone in. I glanced at him. On what grounds? Rin frowned. The dungeon's resources belong to the whole world. I smiled. Interesting. My profession creates the dungeon. My authority opens the entrance. So tell me on what grounds? That one sentence, and the scene fell silent. Everyone's expression changed. For the first time, they realized I was different from them. Others fought over dungeons. But I possessed the dungeon itself. Ren's face turned grim. You want to monopolize it? I shook my head. Wrong. I'm just setting the rules. With that, I opened the dungeon settings. Ancient ruins. Entry conditions. Level 10 or above. Contribution value 100. Special restriction. Malicious contesting prohibited. Rewards. Distributed by contribution. Players around the globe saw the rules and fell silent. Because these rules were actually fairer than the official dungeons. Night God looked at me and suddenly spoke. You're not afraid of others going in. You're preventing someone from destroying this world. I nodded. The secret of Blue Star is hidden here. If someone destroys the ruins for power, everyone loses their chance. Night God was silent for a moment, then walked to my side. I support you. I support him too. A voice rang out. Everyone turned. It was the head of the Huaxia Professionals Association. He looked at me. This dungeon will be managed by you. The state will not interfere. The moment those words were spoken, the world shook. Because it meant that Huaxia had acknowledged my special status. Dungeon opening countdown. 10, 9. Everyone prepared to enter. At the very last second, the sky suddenly tore open. A black energy descended. Every face changed drastically. Because they knew this power all too well. The observer. Amusing. The cold voice rang out. The new rule controller. You've grown faster than expected. I looked up, my eyes turning cold. You again. I'm just warning you, it said. Don't touch what you shouldn't touch. The truth inside the ancient ruins is not something you can bear right now. Every player was shocked. The observer had actually shown itself on its own initiative, and moreover, it seemed to be very wary of this dungeon. I smiled. The more you don't want me to know, the more I want to know. The next second, I raised my hand and opened the dungeon. Ancient ruins. Officially open. Boom. Across the entire sky, a pillar of light rose to the heavens. Every player was swept inside. Before entering, I glanced up at the sky. Once I find the truth. Next will be your world. Dungeon teleportation beginning. Pillars of light shot up into the sky, one after another. Every top player around the globe entered the ancient ruins. Boom. I opened my eyes. The sight before us left everyone stunned. There were no monsters here, none of that bloody carnage of a traditional dungeon. Only a super city that had slept for 10,000 years. In the sky, massive mechanical structures floated. On the ground, countless pieces of unknown technology remained. There was even a city-scale energy core, still slowly running. Ren looked around, losing his composure for the first time. This doesn't look like a dungeon. It's more like a real civilization. In the live stream, viewers around the globe were dumbstruck. Why is there a city in a dungeon? Is this a dungeon or another world? Did humanity really have this kind of technology before? Countless experts began analyzing. But the more they analyzed, the more shocked they became. The technological level of these structures already far exceeded present-day Blue Star. I walked up to a massive stone tablet and pressed my palm against it. World Rule Remnant detected. Read the information? Read. A scene unfolded. Tens of thousands of years ago, Blue Star had once possessed a glorious civilization. They mastered spatial technology, time technology, and even created the earliest dungeon system. In the scene, a human in a white robe spoke. After our civilization developed to its limit, we discovered a higher dimensional world. There, the observers existed. They created the rules and monitored countless civilizations. We decided to resist. Boom. The scene abruptly shattered. In the end, only a few words remained. Failed. Civilization annihilated. Awaiting a successor. I fell silent. So that was it. This wasn't the first time Blue Star had faced the observers. It had already been through it once. It had just lost. Night God walked over. What did you see? I didn't hide it from him. Humanity used to be more powerful than it is now, but it was destroyed by the observers. Night God frowned. Then now, I looked up at the sky. We're walking the same road. Just then, a dungeon prompt appeared. Hidden quest updated. Find the ancient cores. Progress 0/7. Hint. The 7 cores are hidden deep within the ruins. 7 cores. The moment Ren heard it, his expression changed. If I get them, could I obtain the ancient power? I glanced at him. Or you could destroy the entire world. The words had barely left my mouth when the ground shook. Boom. In the center of the city, a massive mechanical tower rose. Ancient Guardian Awakening. Level unknown. Type Civilization Sentinel. A mechanical life form appeared. 100 meters tall, its entire body clad in metal armor, gripping a giant energy sword. Ancient Guardian. Objective, defeat. Everyone's expression changed. 100-meter boss? How are we supposed to fight that? Just as everyone prepared for battle, I noticed something off. Wait. Everyone froze. What's wrong? I stepped forward. Instead of attacking, I opened my profession authority. Target detected. Ancient Guardian. Identity. Civilization Defense System. Current status. Awaiting supreme authority. My eyes flickered. It's not an enemy. It's waiting for its master. I walked straight up to the Guardian. Everyone's hearts leapt into their throats. If I failed, I'd likely be cut down in a single strike. But strangely, the Guardian didn't attack. Instead, it slowly lowered its head. A mechanical voice rang out. Authority verified. World Controller. Confirmed. Welcome back. The whole place went silent. Every player. Ren. Night God. The live stream. Welcome back? What does that mean? Has Lin Yi been here before? Even I was stunned. I'd never been here at all. But the next second, the system offered an explanation. Host profession origin detected. Dungeon creator. Same origin as the ancient civilization's creation authority, which meant my profession came from this civilization. The Guardian slowly raised its hand, and a golden core flew out. Obtained. First World Core. Authority increased. Ability unlocked. Civilization Simulation. I looked at the new ability. Civilization Simulation. You can create a complete civilization within a dungeon. In that moment, I finally understood the true direction of my profession. It wasn't creating dungeons. It was creating civilizations. However, the very instant I obtained the core, the sky tore open again. The observer's voice rang out. At last, you found the first core. Lin Yi, the game is over. The true war has begun. The true war. I looked up at the sky. Within the black rift, that giant eye appeared once more. Unlike the previous projection, this time, the power of the observer's descent was more real. The entire ancient ruins began to shake violently. Warning, an existence beyond world level detected. Dungeon stability declining. Estimated collapse, 10 minutes. The system prompts flashed nonstop. Every player went pale. For the first time, they tasted what true pressure felt like. Even the world's top professionals felt like ants before this power. Rin clenched his fists. This is an observer? Our current strength. We don't even have the right to face it? Night God didn't answer, because that was simply the truth. The SS rank they took such pride in was utterly worthless before this existence. The observer looked down at the crowd, its voice cold. The ancient civilization failed, and now humanity has chosen the same road again. Creator, you should understand. The result of resisting the rules is only destruction. I stood in the center of the city ruins, my expression calm. Your so-called rules are nothing but control. Control? The observer said. Weak civilizations have no right to speak of freedom. We give you the chance to grow, we give you power. You should be grateful. I smiled. Turning life into data, turning worlds into experiments. You call that a gift? Then I really don't need it. Boom. The observer's power erupted. Countless black chains instantly appeared in the sky, pointing straight at me. Rule lock. Target. Linyi. Effect. Strip world authority. Everyone's expression changed drastically. Linyi. Night God tried to rush over, but was blocked by an invisible force. Ren also unleashed his strongest skill. Descent of the Thunder God. Lightning crashed down from all across the sky. But the moment it neared the observer, it all dissipated. Useless, the observer said flatly. Your power originates from our rules. How can you resist the one who created the rules? The instant the black chains were about to touch me, I closed my eyes and opened the authority panel. World Controller. Current authority, basic. Modifiable, space, time, energy, life. Before, I could only change dungeons. But now, with the ancient core, my authority had increased, and I could finally touch higher-tier rules. System. Consume the world core. Upgrade the authority. Confirmed. First world core merging. Authority increasing. Boom. Golden light erupted from my body. Throughout the entire ancient ruins, all the machinery activated at once. The civilization that had slept for 10,000 years awakened once more. Ancient civilization defense system activated. Supreme authority confirmed. New civilization manager, Linyi. In that moment, the entire city bowed its head to me. Countless mechanical life forms awakened. In the sky, a massive fleet rose from the depths of the ruins. The global livestream completely erupted. What is this? Ancient civilization weapons? Linyi has taken control of the entire ruins? For the first time, the observer fell silent. You actually inherited the civilization's core. I looked up at the sky. Now, it's my turn to ask you. What is it, exactly, that you observers fear? It didn't answer. Instead, it unleashed even stronger power. You will learn the answer. But before that, your world must be destroyed. Warning, observer main body power projection intensifying. Dungeon about to enter destruction state. Every player despaired, because they realized that this time, even I didn't have a solution I could use immediately. But I smiled. Destroy my world? Aren't you forgetting one thing? What? I raised my hand. Behind me, the ancient city gathered boundless energy. This place is no longer your testing ground. This is my world. Civilization simulation activating. Civilization level, basic. Resources consumed, all. Confirm? I didn't hesitate. Confirm. The next second, the entire ancient ruins transformed into a war fortress. The first civilization in human history created by a player was born. Civilization simulation activating. Consuming resources. Generating civilization core. Constructing defense system. A string of prompts flashed madly before my eyes. In that moment, every player held their breath, because they had no idea what I was really trying to do. Civilization simulation? Ren looked at the constantly shifting city in the sky, utterly swallowed up in shock. He's not fighting. He's creating a civilization. In the live stream, viewers around the globe went completely wild. Creating a civilization? Is this still a profession skill? Everyone else upgrades gear, and he just upgrades the world? Are SSS professions really this insane? Boom. The ancient ruins began to transform. The once derelict city started running again. Mechanical factories activated, energy towers lit up, countless robots awakened from beneath the ground. A civilization that had slept for 10,000 years stood up once more in my hands. Civilization name, New Era. Level, basic. Population, 10,000 mechanical life forms. Technology, Ancient Tier 1. Defense, a rank. Supreme Authority, Lin. The observer watched all of this, and for the first time showed a flicker of emotion. You actually created a new civilization. I stood in the center of the city and said calmly, "Don't you like observing civilizations? Then watch. Watch how far a civilization free from your control can go." The observer was silent. Then the giant eye in the sky began to change, countless black energies condensing. Observer weapon system activated. Target, new era civilization. Boom. A black pillar of light descended, crashing straight down toward the ancient city. If struck, this newborn civilization would be gone in an instant. It ends, the observer said. A weak civilization has no value in existing. But the next second, a massive protective barrier appeared above the city. Civilization shield activated. Attack negated. Boom. The black pillar of light slammed into the shield, and the whole world shook. But the city wasn't destroyed. Every player was shocked. It blocked it. It really blocked it. Ren looked at the sky and, for the first time, felt he was witnessing history. I looked at the rapidly draining energy, my brow slightly furrowed. I blocked it, yes, but the gap was still too vast. The observer was too strong. At this civilization's current level, it couldn't hold out for long. "It's not enough," I said in a low voice. "I need to upgrade the civilization." Civilization upgrade requirements: 100,000 energy, 50,000 tech points, 2 world cores. Currently insufficient. I looked into the distance. The location of the second world core appeared, deep within the ancient ruins. Guardian's Trial. So that's it. If I want to obtain true power, I have to keep pressing deeper. Just then, Night God walked to my side. "Need help?" I glanced at him. "Do you understand what this means?" Night God nodded. "I do. If you fail, Blue Star might be the next testing ground." He gripped the dagger in his hand. "So, I'm on your side." Rin was silent for a long while, then walked over too. "I'm joining as well." Everyone looked at him. Rin said, "I don't like losing to others. But I like even less the idea of watching humanity lose to an unknown existence." More and more players stepped forward. In that moment, they were no longer doing it for gear or for rewards. They were doing it for one shared goal: to survive. Ding. Civilization faction establishment detected. New era alliance founded. Members, 100. Reward: civilization fortune plus 100. I looked at this group of people before me and suddenly understood. True power wasn't the strength of one person. It was creating an era. In the sky, the observer spoke again. "Interesting. You've actually begun to unite. But the second phase of the experiment is about to begin." As the words fell, every dungeon around the globe shook at the same time. Global announcement. Major event unlocked. The era of dungeon warfare descends. All civilizations will engage in a final competition. In that moment, everyone understood. The dungeon era of the past was over. The true war had begun. I looked up at the sky, my eyes resolute. "Observer, you created the game. Then now, it's my turn to rewrite the rules of the game." Global announcement. Major event unlocked. The era of dungeon warfare descends. All civilizations enter the competition phase. The cold voice of the system rang out across the entire globe. In that moment, every professional understood. The era had changed. In the past, humans entered dungeons only to level up, for gear, to get stronger. But now, dungeons were no longer a simple game. They were war between civilizations. Huaxia Professionals Association, the conference room. Every executive looked at the latest data, their expressions grave. Global dungeons are beginning to merge. In an estimated 1 month, the first round of civilization warfare will appear on Blue Star, one director said. Every nation will establish its own civilization faction and fight over the world cores. Someone asked, and Lin. The conference room fell silent. Everyone looked at the screen. There, a single name was displayed. New Era Civilization. Controller, Lin. Meanwhile, I was reviewing the civilization data in the ancient ruins. New Era Civilization. Level, Basic. Technology, Ancient Tier 1. Military, a rank. Energy, insufficient. Development speed, normal. I frowned. Too slow. Developing at this pace, I'd never catch up to the observers. I have to find more world cores. Just then, a system prompt appeared. Large-scale dungeon warfare unlocked. Special quest, Civilization Rise. Requirement: establish the first advanced civilization. Reward: World Core X1. Seeing the reward, my eyes lit up. A world core. Exactly what I was most lacking right now. War map opened. A massive starfield map unfolded. On it, countless red dots appeared. Dungeon worlds. Count: 10,086. The system prompted. Different civilizations will fight over resources in the dungeon worlds. The final victor obtains the qualification to enter the higher dimensional world. The higher dimensional world? My gaze shifted. It seemed that was where the observers resided. At the same time, the world's major factions began to move. America established the Freedom Alliance. Goal: control all global resources. Japan established the Divine Shadow Organization. Goal: seek godly power. Europe established the Holy Light faction. Goal: obtain the ancient inheritance. And in Huaxia, everyone was waiting, because they knew that my choice would decide the future. The global live stream went live. For the first time, I spoke publicly. No lengthy speech, just one line. The dungeon era isn't meant to make people fight each other. It's meant to give us the power to face the future. If someone wants to control the world, then I'll tell them this. The rules of the world are not for one person alone to decide. Those words spread across the globe. Countless players were shaken. That day, the New Era Alliance was founded. Vast numbers of professionals applied to join. Among them were Night God, Ren, and many of the world's top players. But on the very day the alliance was established, the system suddenly issued a new announcement. Warning: hostile civilization detected. Coordinates: Blue Star orbit. Origin: Observer faction. Invasion countdown: 72 hours. Everyone's expression instantly changed drastically. The observers had come. I looked up at the sky. Ordinary people couldn't see it, but I could. Beyond Blue Star, a massive black warship was slowly drawing near. It wasn't a dungeon, wasn't an illusion. It was a genuine war machine. Target detected: Observer Vanguard ship. Level: unknown. Danger level: extremely high. Night God walked to my side. What do we do? I looked at the sky and said calmly, prepare for war. For the first time, our civilization is going to face a real enemy. Ding. Civilization crisis, quest unlocked. Objective: repel the Observer Vanguard force. Failure penalty: Blue Star's rules will be reset. My eyes turned cold. Reset Blue Star? That meant everyone would lose everything they currently had. Professions. Power. The future. I opened the civilization panel and entered the first war command. New Era Civilization. Entering war state. All units activate. The ancient city that had slept for 10,000 years awakened once more. Countless mechanical legions rose from the ground. In the sky, the ancient warships activated. In that moment, players around the globe witnessed a true miracle. A civilization created by a player beginning its battle against a cosmic tier enemy. Invasion countdown: 72 hours. Every professional around the globe felt true fear for the first time. Not because of monsters, not because of dungeons, but because the enemy came from the stars. In Blue Star orbit, the black warship slowly drew near. It was so vast it blotted out the sky. In cities everywhere, people looked up and could see the silhouette of that warship. In the global live stream, the comments scrolled madly. What is that? An alien civilization? Do the observers really exist? How are we supposed to fight this? New Era Civilization headquarters. I stood atop the highest command platform, the battle map of the entire Blue Star before me. Enemy units: Observer Vanguard ship, count 1. Escort ships, 1,000. Combat units, unknown. Ren looked at the data, his face grim. Just one Vanguard ship? And it's already on this scale? Beside him, Night God gripped his dagger. The true Observer Legion is probably still behind it. I said nothing. I looked at the civilization panel. New Era Civilization. Level: basic. Producible units: mechanical warriors / energy turrets / defense satellites. Limited numbers, insufficient technology. In a head-on confrontation, the win rate was under 1%. A system prompt appeared. Civilization crisis detected. Activate creator authority? My eyes flickered. Activate. You may consume creation points to create temporary war units. Duration: 24 hours. I didn't hesitate. I poured in all my creation points at once. Creating. War unit: Starfield Guardian. Count: 10,000. Rank: A. Manufacturing complete. Boom. Above the ancient city, space tore open. A mechanical legion appeared. Every mechanical warrior stood 100 meters tall, gripping energy weapons. Viewers around the globe were shocked. Is this Linya's power? Creating an army out of thin air? He alone is an entire civilization. However, the next second, the Observer Vanguard ship unleashed an attack. A black beam of light crossed the starfield, crashing straight down at Blue Star. Activate the shield. I commanded. Civilization shield activated. Boom. The two forces collided, and all of Blue Star trembled. The oceans surged into massive waves. The sky tore open with fissures. Warning: Civilization shield integrity at 70%. Just one attack had drained 30% of the defense. Everyone's hearts sank. The gap's too vast, Rin said in a low voice. They're not even in the same tier as us. But I didn't panic. Because I discovered something. The Observer Vanguard ship was strong, yes, but its attack pattern was the same as dungeon rules. Fixed, cyclical, following a pattern. So that's it. I smiled. You create the rules, yet you're constrained by them. I opened the World Authority. Rule analysis. Target, Observer Vanguard ship. Weakness, core energy source. Location, center of the ship's body. Night God's eyes lit up. You found its weakness? I nodded. But it's too far. Someone needs to get inside. Everyone fell silent. That was the enemy's flagship. Going in was as good as suicide. Suddenly, a voice rang out. I'll go. Everyone turned. Night God stepped forward. My profession is suited for infiltration. I looked at him. You might not come back. Night God smiled faintly. The future third strongest can't very well go hide in his first war. Rin stepped forward too. I'll draw the fire. You two destroy the core. More and more professionals joined in. In that moment, for the first time, they truly became comrades in arms. War quest updated. Decapitation strike. Objective, destroy the Observer Vanguard ship's core. Reward, civilization contribution plus 10,000. The operation began. Night God turned into a black shadow and slipped into the starfield. Rin unleashed all his power, lightning crashing across the sky at the enemy ship. Humans actually launching an attack on their own. Inside the Observer Vanguard ship, a cold voice rang out. Interesting. It seems a new experimental variable has appeared. In the starfield, Night God had already neared the core zone. But the instant he reached out to touch the energy core, a figure appeared, blocking his path. Observer Executor. Level unknown. Night God's pupils shrank. There's a guard too? The Executor looked at him and said slowly, Lower civilization, you should not resist. The next second, a terrifying force erupted. Night God was blasted away in an instant. Meanwhile, I watched this scene, my eyes growing gradually colder. I knew that in this first war, the true enemy had finally appeared. The Starfield battlefield, inside the Observer Vanguard ship. Night God slammed heavily into the metal wall, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. It was the first time he'd felt such an enormous gap in strength. Detecting. Enemy unit. Observer Executor. Level. Cannot be assessed. Abilities. Rule suppression / spatial lockdown / energy devouring. Rule suppression. Night God wiped the blood from his lips. So this is the power of a higher dimensional life form. The Executor walked toward him step by step. You lower civilizations, your greatest mistake is thinking that gaining a little power means you can challenge those who create the rules. Night God gripped his dagger. Power isn't for obeying. It's for changing your fate. The next second, Night God vanished. Shadow ambush. Shadow clone. Death mark. 3 skills erupted at once, countless shadows striking from all directions. However, the Executor merely raised its hand. Space stopped. Every shadow froze in place. Too weak, the Executor said flatly. Your future has already been calculated. Just as the attack was about to land. Boom. The entire warship suddenly shook violently. A golden light pierced through the ship's hull. My voice rang out. Calculated the future? Then what if I changed the future? Everyone was shocked. I'd actually gone straight into the enemy's ship. For the first time, the Executor looked toward me. The rule modifier. You finally appeared. I ignored it and looked at Night God. Can you still fight? Night God stood up. I can. I nodded. Then let's continue. The Executor sneered. You think that having a little authority means you can change the outcome? The next second, a terrifying pressure descended. Inside the entire warship, all space began to collapse. Warning. Host under rule suppression. Authority reduced by 50%. I frowned. So this was higher dimensional power? It could even limit my authority. But suddenly, I smiled. You made a mistake. What? I raised my hand and opened the profession panel. SSS Hidden Profession, Dungeon Creator. Hidden Ability, Create Life. Unlock Condition, World Core X1. After obtaining the first World Core before, I'd never used this ability, because it required a massive amount of resources. But now, I didn't need them. Since you people love creating rules, then I'll create a being specifically made to break rules. Creation beginning. Target, War Unit. Level, SSS. Template, Human. Abilities, Rule Immunity / Infinite Growth / Civilization Guardian. Boom. The entire starfield suddenly went silent. A figure walked out of the golden light. Black armor, wielding a spear, eyes like stars. Name, Star Guardian. Level SSS. Affiliation, New Era Civilization. Creator, Lin. For the first time, the executor stepped back. You created life? I said calmly, wrong. What I created is the future. The Star Guardian opened its eyes. Its first words were, protect the creator. The next second, the two sides clashed. Boom. The spear collided with the force of the rules. Inside the entire Vanguard ship, everything began to collapse. The executor unleashed all its power. Rule stripping, spatial annihilation, time freeze. Three great abilities activated at once. But the Star Guardian stood where it was, completely unharmed. Detecting enemy rule attack. Immune. The executor was stunned. Impossible? No life can be immune to rules. I looked at it and said calmly, because it doesn't live within your rules. In that moment, everyone finally understood the truly terrifying part of an SSS-Rank profession. It wasn't creating dungeons. It wasn't modifying rules. It was creating an entirely new system of rules. The Star Guardian thrust its spear. Boom. For the first time, the Observer Executor was wounded. The Blue Star battlefield, the global livestream. Seeing this scene, everyone completely erupted. Lin Yi created SSS-Rank life? Isn't this already the power of a god? What kind of profession is the dungeon creator? Ding. Civilization War Quest completion increased. Observer Vanguard force defeated. Reward, coordinates of the Second World Core. I looked at the newly appeared coordinates, my eyes narrowing. Because that location was, of all places, the moon. Second World Core coordinates. Location Moon. The instant the system prompt appeared, I froze. The moon? The moon, which humanity had always thought was just an ordinary satellite, actually held a world core? The moon. Night God looked at the coordinates, his expression grave. Could it be? There's an ancient civilization there too? I nodded. And it's very likely more important than the Blue Star ruins. In the starfield, the Observer Vanguard ship had been destroyed, and the remaining fleet began to retreat. But everyone understood this was only the beginning. The true observers had not yet appeared. Global announcement. Humanity has repelled the Observer Vanguard force for the first time. Phase 1 of the civilization war has ended. Rewards distributed. All professionals' levels increased. Starfield Exploration Authority unlocked. The whole world was in an uproar. Because from today on, humanity had, for the first time, gained the qualification to leave Blue Star. Huaxia Professionals Association headquarters, a top-level meeting was convened. Everyone looked at me. How many people do we need for the moon exploration? I shook my head. Not too many. That's not an ordinary dungeon. It's another civilization's ruins. In the end, the exploration team was formed. Members, me, Night God, Ren, and the world's top 100 professionals. 3 days later, Moon Orbit. A massive ancient warship docked. It was the first interstellar spacecraft I'd created using Civilization Authority. New Era. Rank A. Voyage Range, Solar System. The global livestream went live. For the first time, humanity truly stepped into the stars. Prepare to land, I commanded. The hatch opened, and everyone stepped onto the moon. There was no desolation like we'd imagined. When we ventured deep underground, a vast underground world appeared. Cities, forests, rivers, all of it there, as if it were another Earth. Ren was shocked. The interior of the moon actually has a civilization? Night God looked into the distance. And people once lived here. Suddenly, everyone's system rang out at the same time. Ancient civilization detected. Name, Moon Deity Clan. Status, dormant. The next second, the ground shook. A massive palace slowly rose. In the center of the palace, a figure opened its eyes. Moon Deity Guardian. Level unknown. Identity, World Core Guardian. The Guardian looked toward me, silent for a long while, then spoke. Another creator. Everyone froze. Another? I frowned. You know the previous creators? The Guardian nodded. He once came here too, and sought a world core as well. My eyes narrowed. Who was he? The first generation rule controller. And also, the one who created the dungeon system. Everyone was shocked. The one who created the dungeon system? Then didn't that mean the system they'd all been using came from a single human? The Guardian continued. In those days, he discovered the existence of the observers, so he created dungeons, letting civilizations grow amid crisis. I fell silent. So the descent of dungeons hadn't been for destruction, but for cultivation. But he failed, the Guardian said, because he never found the final answer. I asked, what answer? The Guardian looked up at the sky. A creator's greatest enemy is not the observers. It is the creation of rules itself. Boom. As the words fell, deep within the moon, a golden pillar of light shot up to the heavens. Second world core appeared. Everyone looked toward the pillar of light. But the next second, a system prompt appeared. Warning, Core Guardian trial unlocked. Trial level, beyond SSS. I looked at the prompt and smiled. Looks like obtaining the second core won't be so simple. Just then, the Moon Deity Guardian said slowly, "Young creator, are you ready? What you'll face next is no longer an enemy. It is your past self." Second world core trial unlocked. Trial level, beyond SSS. Trial rule, challenge the possibilities of the future. The system prompt appeared, and every player's expression changed. Because this time, there were no monsters, no boss, not even an enemy. Just one line. Challenge the possibilities of the future. What does that mean? Rin frowned. Do we have to fight our future selves? The Moon Deity Guardian didn't answer, only looked at me. Creator. Everyone who holds world authority will encounter their own future. Some choose to become gods. Some choose to become kings. Some choose to become destroyers. I asked, then which will I become? Go in, and you'll know. Boom. A golden portal appeared. I walked in alone. The next second, the world changed. This was a starfield, countless planets orbiting around. And in the center of the starfield stood a person. Seeing that face, my pupils shrank. Because the other party looked exactly like me. Only the aura was completely different. A black robe, cold eyes. Behind him, countless worlds floated. Future projection. Identity, Lin Yi. Status, unknown. Authority, advanced world controller. The future me looked at me and said calmly, "You've finally come." I frowned. "Who are you?" He smiled. "I'm you. You, 10 years from now. 10 years from now." I looked around. These worlds. He nodded. All mine. I created 3,000 worlds, established countless civilizations, defeated the observers, and became the new rule maker. It sounded like success, but I noticed that the future me had no emotion whatsoever in his eyes. Cold. Hollow. What did you lose? I suddenly asked. He was silent for a long while. Emotion. When you possess the entire universe, when all life obeys your commands, you'll find that no one can truly understand you. He reached out his hand, and countless worlds appeared in his palm. So, I created everything, and I also destroyed everything. Trial objective, defeat your future self. Or, change the future. I didn't attack. Instead, I asked, if you could choose again, would you still do it this way? He fell silent. For the first time, a slight change appeared. I don't know. The next second, he made his move. Boom. The entire starfield shook. Advanced World Authority activated. Space modification. Time halt. Rule stripping. 3 abilities bore down at once. I instantly felt enormous pressure. The future me was terrifyingly powerful. But I wasn't afraid. Because I'd realized that although the future him possessed countless powers, he lacked one thing. The most important thing for a creator. You're wrong, I said. He stopped. Wrong where? I looked at him. Creating worlds isn't for controlling life. It's for giving life a future. Boom. A golden light appeared. Host will detected. Matches the creator's core. Trial changing. Original trial. Defeat the future. New trial. Change the future. For the first time, the future me showed shock. You actually changed the trial's rules? I smiled. Did you forget? My profession is modifying rules. The next second, the entire future world began to change. Those cold worlds began to show life, laughter, civilization. The future me watched all of this, silent for a long while. He said so. I had once forgotten why I began creating in the first place. Trial complete. Rating, perfect. Reward obtained, second world core. Ability unlocked, future simulation. Boom. In the real world, the moon's core awakened. A golden pillar of light shot toward the universe. Ding. World cores collected, 2 out of 7. Civilization authority increased. New era civilization level, basic intermediate. I walked out of the trial space. Everyone looked at me. Night God asked, what happened in there? I looked toward the distant star field and said softly, I saw the future, and I changed it. Just then, an announcement rang out across the globe again. Warning, observer main ship detected. Distance to blue star, 48 hours. War level, world ending. Everyone's expression instantly changed drastically. Because this time, what was coming wasn't the vanguard force. It was the observer's true army. Warning, observer main ship detected. Distance to blue star, 48 hours. War level, world ending. The instant the system prompt rang out, the whole world fell into dead silence. Because everyone knew this time it was no longer the vanguard force. It was the observer's true power. The moon base. I stood before the massive floor-to-ceiling window, gazing at the distant starfield. There, a vast shadow was approaching, 100 times larger than the previous Vanguard ship. Target scan. Name, Observer Mothership. Level, unknown. Ship rank, beyond SSS. Loaded units, unknown. Estimated combat power, incalculable. Ren looked at the data, silent for a long while. How are we even supposed to fight this? That's not a warship at all. That's a moving planet. Night God said nothing. His gaze turned to me. Because everyone knew that right now, there was only one hope. Me. I opened the civilization panel. New era civilization. Level, intermediate. Technology, ancient tier 2. Military, SS rank. Energy, sufficient. World cores, 2. Compared to before, it was already countless times stronger. But against the Observer Mothership, it still wasn't enough. A system prompt. World-ending crisis detected. Activating special authority. Creator's ultimate template. Creatable units. Divine tier life / world guardian / civilization core weapon. My eyes lit up. At last, the true power of the SSS profession was about to be revealed. Create. Select unit. Divine tier life. Cost. World core X1. Success rate. 50%. I frowned. 50%? And if it failed? Upon failure, the world core vanishes. Creator authority decreases. Everyone fell silent. This time, the stakes were too high. Night God looked at me. If it fails, you'll lose everything you have now. I nodded. I know. Ren asked, then why still do it? I looked at Blue Star. There were cities there, loved ones, billions of humans. Because someone has to gamble. If even the creator doesn't dare to create the future, then who's left to protect this world? Confirm creation. Boom. Throughout the entire solar system, a massive energy fluctuation suddenly appeared. The moon, Blue Star, the ancient ruins, all civilization facilities activated at once. A golden pillar of light connected the universe. Creation beginning. Life template generating. Rules merging. World core injecting. Time passed second by second. Everyone around the globe waited. 24 hours passed. The Observer Mothership drew closer and closer to Blue Star. 12 hours. 10 hours. Just as the countdown had only its final minute left, the system suddenly rang out. Creation complete. Divine tier life born. Boom. In the starfield, a figure appeared. He had no armor, no weapon. He simply stood there quietly. But the rules of the entire universe revolved around him. Name, Genesis Guardian. Level, Divine. Affiliation, New Era Civilization. Creator, Linyi. Abilities, World Protection / Rule Counter / Infinite Growth. Everyone was shocked. The global live stream went completely wild. Divine tier life? Did Linyi really create a god? Is this even something a human could do? The Genesis Guardian opened its eyes. Its first words, Observer, you've crossed the line. The next second, the Observer Mothership arrived in the solar system. Its vast shadow covered the starfield. A voice spread across the universe. Creator, you've finally completed the final step. I frowned. What does that mean? Within the Observer Mothership, a figure appeared. Not a projection. Its true body. You think you're resisting us? Wrong. From the moment you obtained the dungeon creator profession, you had already entered our plan. My eyes narrowed. What do you mean? The Observer said. Because you were created by us in the first place. The whole place went silent. You were created by us in the first place. The Observer's words were like a bomb, exploding in everyone's minds. The global live stream instantly erupted. What does that mean? Linyi isn't human? The Observers created him? What kind of plot even is this? On Blue Star, everyone looked at me, waiting for my reaction. But I felt no anger. I only asked calmly. Proof. The Observer smiled. You want to know? Then take a look. The next second, a massive projection appeared across the entire starfield. It was a piece of hidden history. Decades ago, on Blue Star, a certain secret laboratory. Countless machines running, vast amounts of data flowing. In the scene, an infant was born. A researcher beside it said, Experiment number 001. Fusion successful. World core compatibility, 99%. Everyone's expression changed. Because that infant looked exactly like me. This is impossible, Rin said in a low voice. Night God clenched his fists. It's fake. This must be an illusion they created. But I fell silent. Because I noticed that the energy fluctuation in the scene was exactly the same as when my profession awakened. The Observer continued. We searched countless civilizations, seeking life that could bear world authority. But every experiment failed. Until you. I looked up. So my profession was made by you too? That's right. The dungeon creator was prepared for you from the start. In that moment, all the truths connected. The descent of dungeons. Profession awakenings. World cores. Even the appearance of the observers. It all seemed to lie along a single thread. But I suddenly smiled. The observer was puzzled. You're not angry? I shook my head. Anger. Of course there's anger. But I looked toward Blue Star. Even if I really was created, that doesn't mean my life is decided by you. Birth can be arranged, but choice cannot. Boom. That one sentence shook the entire universe. Ding. Hosts will breakthrough detected. Hidden ability unlocked. Self-rule. Self-rule. Effect. Immune to external definition. Description. No existence can decide the host's final form. My eyes narrowed. This was the power I'd always been lacking. Not creating worlds. Not modifying rules. But deciding my own self. For the first time, the observer fell silent. Self-rule? You actually broke through the experiment's limits. I looked at it. You're wrong. From the very beginning, I was never your experiment. I am Linyi. Boom. The Genesis Guardian stood behind me, divine power erupting. The observer mothership began to activate. A pity, it said. You still don't understand. We created you not to control you, but to make you become the new observer. I frowned. What do you mean? Our civilization once resisted the rules too. In the end, we discovered that becoming the rules is the only answer. You will go through the same choice. The next second, the observer mothership opened, and countless black fleets poured out. World-ending war officially unlocked. Enemy count, unknown. War scale, cosmic tier. On Blue Star, every professional entered combat readiness. I looked at the endless star field and did not retreat. If the future has only two choices, to become a puppet or to become a new controller, then I'll create a third choice. World cores collected, 2 out of 7. Final quest unlocked. Find the remaining 5 world cores. Objective, create entirely new rules. The observer looked at me and said slowly, then, let me see whether you can create a third path. The cosmic war officially began. World-ending war officially unlocked. War scale, cosmic tier. The system prompt rang out. Across all of Blue Star, every professional's wristband lit up at the same time. In that moment, no one treated dungeons as a game anymore, because what they faced was a war that would truly decide the survival of civilization. At the outer edge of the solar system, the observer fleet blanketed the starfield. Countless black warships, like a death tide across the cosmos. In Blue Star orbit, the new era civilization's legions assembled. Ancient warships, mechanical legions, starfield guardians, the Genesis Guardian, all fully prepared. Ren stood on the deck of a warship, looking at the enemy in the distance, and took a deep breath. Before, I thought becoming the strongest professional was my goal. Only now do I realize, the real battle has only just begun. Night God gripped his weapon. At least, this time, we're not fighting alone. I stood atop the highest command platform and opened the cosmic map. Enemy faction, observer civilization. Level, higher dimensional civilization. Count, unknown. Objective, seize world authority. All fleets, prepare, I said. The first cosmic war begins with humanity. New era civilization. Full army, advance. Boom. Countless warships activated, charging toward the starfield. Within the observer fleet, a figure appeared. It was that observer executor from before. A lower civilization, actually attacking on its own initiative. Commendable courage, but utterly meaningless. It raised its hand, countless black energies condensing. Rule annihilation cannon, activating. One shot, enough to destroy a planet. Just as the attack was about to strike the new era fleet, a figure blocked its path. The Genesis Guardian. Rule attack. Ineffective. Boom. The energy exploded, and the entire starfield was illuminated. The observer executor was shocked. You're merely a created life. Why do you possess the ability to resist rules? The Genesis Guardian answered calmly. Because my existence is not for obedience. It is for protection. The two sides collided head-on for the first time. Meanwhile, I had already fought my way into enemy territory. My target wasn't the warships. It was the core of the observer civilization. A system prompt. World core fluctuation detected. Coordinates. Interior of the observer mothership. As I thought, my eyes narrowed. The remaining world cores were in the observer's hands. They've been collecting world cores this whole time. What are they really trying to do? Just then, space tore open, and the figure of a woman appeared. Unknown life. Level unknown. I grew wary. Who are you? The woman looked at me and said softly, I am the previous creator. My pupils shrank. The previous one? She nodded. Before you, there was one more person who successfully obtained all the world cores. But in the end, he failed. I asked why. The woman looked toward the observer mothership. Because he made the same choice as the observers. He chose to become a god, rather than a guardian. I fell silent. It was this question again. The woman continued. The true power of the 7 world cores is not to create a universe. It is to redefine the creator. Ding. Hidden information discovered. The true function of the world cores. Unlocked. A new description appeared before my eyes. The 7 world cores. Not power, but choice. First core, past. Second core, future. Third core, present. Fourth core, life. Fifth core, civilization. Sixth core, rules. Seventh core, self. My expression shifted. So the world cores were never simply power. They were a path. The woman looked at me. You already have 2. What you'll face next is... Boom. Suddenly, the entire observer mothership shook. A terrifying aura descended. Every observer fleet ceased its attack at the same time. Because the true observer had appeared, a figure walked out from the depths of the mothership. No armor, no weapon, just the appearance of an ordinary human. But everyone felt that the entire universe was bowing its head to him. Detecting. Lord of the Observers. Level, unknown. Authority, ultimate. The Lord of the Observers looked toward me and smiled faintly. We finally meet. My child. My child. Those 2 words plunged the entire starfield into silence. On Blue Star, in the global live stream, everyone heard this line. Child. The Lord of the Observers is Lin Ye's father? What kind of relationship even is this? I looked at the man before me. No anger, no shock, only indifference. Who are you? The Lord of the Observers smiled. I'm the one who created you. And also, the first to discover the truth of the world. Your name, I said. He was silent for a moment. Long ago, they called me the first-generation creator. Boom. Everyone was shaken. The first-generation creator. The one who created the dungeon system. He was actually the Lord of the Observers? Night God watched the screen, his expression complicated. So, everything truly came from a single person. I stared at him. So you created dungeons, created professions, created me, and in the end became an observer? The first-generation creator nodded. That's right. Why? He looked toward the universe. Because I discovered one thing. The development of civilization will always ultimately lead to destruction. War, resources, desire. Every civilization repeats the same mistakes. So I established the observer system to manage all worlds. I sneered. Manage? Or control? The first-generation creator fell silent. You're very much like me, he said. When I was young, I too believed freedom was most important. But after watching countless civilizations be destroyed, I understood. Freedom brings catastrophe. I shook my head. No, you're wrong. He looked at me. I said, freedom brings mistakes. But without freedom, a civilization will never grow. You fear destruction, so you created a cage. But you don't realize that the cage itself is destruction. The entire starfield was silent for a long while. The first-generation creator smiled. As expected, you're just like I was when I was young. The next second, his aura changed. Lord of the Observers. Ultimate authority activated. But your answer, I must verify for myself. Boom. Throughout the entire universe, countless rules began to change. Time halt. Spatial lockdown. World freeze. Every Blue Star player was rendered unable to move. Only I could still stand. Detecting. Host under ultimate authority suppression. Self-rule activated. Resistance successful. The first-generation creator's expression shifted. Self-rule. It really did succeed. I frowned. You did that on purpose? He nodded. That's right. I created you not to make you inherit my path, but to find someone who could negate me. I froze. The first-generation creator continued. The 7 world cores are not keys. They're an exam. Every creator will face a final question. To become the god who controls everything, or to give up control. I asked, what was your answer? He looked at the observer civilization behind him. I chose the former. So I became an observer. I fell silent. The next second, the first-generation creator reached out his hand. A golden core appeared. Third world core. Present. Everyone was shocked. The third core was actually in the hands of the Lord of the Observers. Take it, the first-generation creator said. I didn't take it immediately. Why? He looked at me. Because I want to see, if it's you, whether you can walk a different path. Ding. Third world core appeared. Choice beginning. Accept? I reached out and grasped the core. Boom. The entire universe shook. World cores collected. 3 out of 7. Ability unlocked. Present rule. Present rule. Effect. Control the current state of the world. Can repair. Can restart. Can evolve. However, the instant I obtained the third core, the first-generation creator suddenly said, there's one more thing. Your memories are not complete. I frowned. What do you mean? He looked at me and said slowly, you are not a created child. You are the last true human of Blue Star. You are the last true human of Blue Star. Those words struck like a thunderbolt, exploding in my mind. Impossible. My first reaction was denial. I grew up on Blue Star since I was little. I have parents, friends, complete memories. The first generation creator looked at me and said slowly, those memories are real, but incomplete. Because before you were born, Blue Star had already been destroyed once. Boom. My pupils shrank. The first generation creator waved his hand, and a scene appeared. It was the Blue Star of the past, but completely different from now. In the sky, there were no dungeons, no system, no professions. Only a highly developed human civilization. Humanity had mastered interstellar travel, mastered spatial technology, and had even touched the level of the rules. But the observers descended. War broke out. The Blue Star civilization was defeated. Cities destroyed, civilization vanished, countless lives fallen. In the end, in an underground base, a man held an infant, standing before a world core. This is the last hope. Preserve humanity's future. That man was the first generation creator in his youth. The scene ended. I fell silent. So, I'm that infant. The first generation creator nodded. That's right. To protect you, I sealed your memories, making you an ordinary person. Until the dungeon era began. I looked at my own two hands and felt unfamiliar for the first time. So my story had, from the moment of my birth, already been connected to this world. Why tell me now? Because you already possess 3 cores. You have the right to know the truth. Next, you'll encounter the 4th core. And it's the most dangerous one. The system suddenly rang out. Ding. 4th world core coordinates appeared. Location, Life Forbidden Zone. Type, Life Core. Hint, this region contains the highest tier life rules. Entry danger level, extremely high. I looked toward the coordinates. The Life Forbidden Zone. What's there? Once, it was the birthplace of life on Blue Star. And also, the place where you were born. On Blue Star, at the Global Professionals headquarters, everyone was waiting for word from me. Suddenly, a global announcement rang out. World cores collected, 3 out of 7. New phase unlocked. Life rules have appeared. Every professional was shocked, because they realized that my growth speed had already completely exceeded everyone's imagination. Someone asked, if he collects all 7 cores, what will he become? No one answered, because the answer might mean a new era. In the starfield, the observer fleet had temporarily halted its attack. An observer member asked, why let him grow? The first generation creator looked toward Blue Star. Because only someone who truly possesses choice can decide the future. If he ultimately chooses control, he'll become the new me. If he chooses freedom, his eyes were complicated. He'll become the first true creator. 3 days later, I led the new era civilization to the Life Forbidden Zone. There, the 4th world core was hidden. But no one knew that what awaited us was not a guardian, not an enemy. It was the most powerful life form since Blue Star's birth. 4th world core coordinates. Location, Life Forbidden Zone. Danger level, beyond SSS. The new era passed through the starfield, flying toward the depths of Blue Star. This time, it wasn't just Night God and Rin following me, but also the strongest legion of the new era civilization. Because everyone knew that the 4th world core concerned the future. Life core. Rin looked at the data. What kind of power is it exactly? I shook my head. I don't know, but it's certainly more special than the first 3. The first, representing the past, gave me the foundation of civilization. The second, representing the future, let me see countless possibilities. The third, representing the present, let me control current rules. And the 4th, life. What did it represent? I had a faint feeling that it might decide the true meaning of a civilization. Boom. The ship entered Blue Star's atmosphere. Everyone froze, because this place was completely different from the forbidden zone they'd imagined. No ruins, no death. Instead, a vast forest. Countless enormous plants growing. And in the sky, there were even floating islands. Life Forbidden Zone. Status, ancient ecosystem. Life energy, infinite. Night God frowned. This place is like a new world. I nodded. Because this place preserves Blue Star's original life rules. Everyone ventured deeper. The deeper we went, the stronger the aura of life. Even some ordinary plants possessed power close to B-rank monsters. Suddenly, a massive altar appeared ahead. In the center of the altar, a figure slept. It was a young woman, with silver hair, wearing a green dress, surrounded by countless points of life light. Detecting. Unknown life form. Level unknown. Identity, Life Guardian. The young woman slowly opened her eyes. Her first words left me stunned. You've finally come back. Everyone grew wary. Rin gripped his weapon. You know Linyi? The young woman looked at me and nodded gently. I do. Long ago, he was the first life I created. Boom. Everyone was shocked. I frowned. What do you mean? The young woman stood up, and the flowers and grass around her all bloomed. You think you're just an ordinary person? You're wrong. You are Blue Star's last hope. And also, the life born from the union of humanity and the world's rules. I fell silent. Another identity? I felt like I was continuously peeling back layer after layer of secrets. The young woman reached out her hand, and a green light appeared. Your body isn't ordinary flesh and blood. Your existence is connected to the world. Life rule detected. Host compatibility, 100%. A system prompt appeared. My expression shifted. So the fourth core is with you. The young woman nodded. That's right. But to obtain it, you must answer one question. I asked, what question? She looked at me. Creating life. What is it truly for? Everyone fell silent. This wasn't a test of power, but of choice. The young woman continued. The first-generation creator believed life needed to be managed. The observers believe life is merely data. So what about you? I looked around, looked at Blue Star, looked at the companions following me. After a long while, I said, life is not a tool, nor is it a variable. The meaning of life's existence is having the right to choose the future. As the words fell, the entire life forbidden zone shook. Answer detected. Matches the life rule. Trial passed. Boom. A green pillar of light shot up to the heavens. Fourth world core. Life. Obtained. World cores collected. 4 out of 7. Ability unlocked. Life creation. Life creation. Effect. Create life with growth potential. Limitation. The life must possess its own will. I looked at the new ability and finally understood. This was what true creation was. Not manufacturing tools, not manufacturing soldiers, but giving life a future. Just then, the sky suddenly darkened. A familiar voice rang out. Congratulations. You've obtained the fourth core, but you have 3 choices remaining. The Lord of the Observers appeared. His gaze fell upon me. Next, you'll encounter the hardest questions. Power, civilization, rules. In the end, you must decide whether you'll become a creator or the new observer. World cores collected, 4 out of 7. Life rule unlocked. Inside the life forbidden zone, the green light gradually dispersed. I held the fourth world core, feeling my power change once more. In the past, I created dungeons, created rules, created life. But now, I was beginning to truly understand what it meant to be a creator. Creation is not possessing. It is giving. Where is the fifth core? I looked at the system. The system didn't answer immediately. Instead, it popped up new information. Fifth world core. Name, civilization. Location, myriad races battlefield. Danger level, beyond SSS. Seeing this name, everyone fell silent. Civilization. Not some location, but something formed by countless lives together. Night God frowned. Myriad races battlefield? What is that place? The Life Guardian answered. That place was once where countless civilizations competed. The victors gained the right to evolve. The losers became history. Ren asked, and the observers? The Life Guardian looked toward the sky. They were born there. Boom. Everyone was shocked. So the observers had once been an ordinary civilization too. They just walked a different path. 3 days later, the new era launched again. Destination, myriad races battlefield. This time, I didn't bring a great army, only an elite team. Because the system prompted. Civilization core trial. Personnel limit, 100. The entry restriction meant that what was tested here was not power, but civilization. Spatial traversal. The next second, everyone arrived at a vast star region. Here, countless continents floated. Each continent represented a civilization. Welcome to Myriad Races Battlefield. Current civilization count, 10,000. Trial rules. Build a civilization / develop the civilization / defeat other civilizations / rank first in the end. Everyone froze. This wasn't a dungeon, but a civilization war simulation. Ren looked at the map. So you're saying we start from 0? I nodded. That's right. The system prompted. Current resources. Population, 1,000. Technology, 0. Energy, 100. Civilization level, primitive. Everyone. Just moments ago, they'd had interstellar warships. And now that they'd entered, they'd become a primitive civilization. The live stream erupted again. Linyi has to develop from 0 too? Let's see how he wins this time. In the distance, other civilizations had already begun to move. The mechanical civilization, leading in technology from the start, produced a robot legion on the first day. The magic civilization, controlling the elements, built magic towers. The insect civilization, breeding frantically, saw its population explode. And on my side, there was only barren land. Rin couldn't help but ask, "What do we do?" I looked at the sky and smiled. In the past, others entered dungeons to seek power. Now, we create a civilization. I opened the ability. Civilization simulation. Activate. Boom. On the barren land, the first city appeared. New era civilization. Established. But I didn't directly create advanced technology. I chose agriculture, education, basic energy. Everyone was puzzled. Why not directly manufacture superweapons? I said, weapons can only win one war. Civilization can win countless futures. Time flew by quickly. Day 1. The new era civilization was established. Day 3. The population surpassed 100,000. Day 7. The first batch of scientists appeared. Day 15. Technology reached Tier 1. A month later, the other civilizations finally discovered that this seemingly weakest civilization had begun to catch up. The mechanical civilization's leader sneered. An ordinary human civilization wants to compete? Destroy them. Civilization war unlocked. A legion of 1,000,000 machines came sweeping toward the new era civilization. Everyone was tense, but I didn't manufacture weapons. Instead, I opened the 5th course trial prompt. The true power of civilization is not war. It is continuation. I smiled. Now I understand. What the 5th core tests isn't how to win. It's how to make a civilization survive. Myriad races battlefield. Civilization war unlocked. Above the sky, the massive countdown ended. First round of civilization war. Begin. Boom. The mechanical civilization's legion of 1,000,000 marched into the new era civilization's territory. A steel torrent, blotting out the sky. In the live stream, countless viewers were tense. It's over. The mechanical civilization developed too fast. Linya's side has only just started. How's he supposed to fight? New era city, atop the walls. Every professional stood ready for battle. Rin looked at the enemy in the distance. Do you need me to make a move? I shook my head. No. This is a civilization trial, not a personal battle. Rin froze. But the enemy's already here. I looked at the city. There were schools there, factories, ordinary residents. If every crisis is solved by relying on one person, then this civilization will never grow. The mechanical civilization's leader appeared, its massive mechanical body looking down upon New Era City. Low-tier civilization. Submit. Join the mechanical empire, and you may continue to exist. I walked up onto the wall. If the meaning of a civilization's existence is only to bow its head to the strong, then such a civilization has no value in existing. The mechanical leader sneered. Foolish. Attack. Boom. The legion of 1,000,000 machines launched. Energy cannons, mechanical warriors, sky fleets, all bearing down at once. Everyone was tense. However, the new era civilization didn't use superweapons. We activated the city's defense system. All citizen defense plan. Activated. The elderly, researchers, ordinary residents, all participated. Some repaired the energy towers, some transported resources, some manufactured equipment. For the first time, the entire civilization truly began to function. The mechanical leader was puzzled. What are they doing? The analysis robot beside it answered, unknown. They have no superweapons. But the civilization's overall efficiency is increasing. Day 1, the mechanical legion attacked, and New Era City suffered heavy losses. Day 2, humanity manufactured the first generation of defensive machines. Day 3, the scientists cracked the mechanical technology. Day 5, the New Era civilization's technology improved. Technology level, Tier 1, Tier 3. The mechanical civilization was shocked. How is this possible? Why do they grow stronger the more they fight? I stood in the research center, watching the constantly growing data. I finally understood the meaning of the 5th core. A civilization's most powerful strength isn't some hero. It's countless lives, creating the future together. Day 10, the counterattack began. For the first time, the New Era civilization marched out of the city. Not relying on me, not relying on divine tier life, but on the power they'd created themselves. New Era Legion. Established. The mechanical civilization's leader looked at the battlefield and, for the first time, felt fear. This is impossible. How can a low-tier civilization possess this kind of growth speed? I appeared before it. Because what you manufacture is machines, and what we create is the future. The final battle began. The mechanical civilization released its ultimate weapon, Mechanical Star Core. A massive mechanical planet descended upon the battlefield. Everyone despaired. But the new era civilization didn't retreat. We activated. Civilization resonance. Everyone's power connected together. Scientists, warriors, ordinary residents. Every single life became part of the civilization. Boom. An unprecedented power appeared. Civilization level increased. New era civilization advanced high. The mechanical star core was shattered. First round of civilization war ended. Victor. New era civilization. Fifth world core appeared. I reached out. The golden core fell into my palm. World core. Civilization. World cores collected. 5 out of 7. Ability unlocked. Civilization blessing. Civilization blessing. Effect. Increase the growth speed of the affiliated civilization. Effect. All life shares in the civilization's evolution. Just as everyone was celebrating, the system suddenly showed a new prompt. Warning. 6th world core. Location. Rule abyss. Hint. There, the source of all rules exists. I looked toward the new coordinates. The rule abyss. That was also where the observers were first born. 5th world core. Civilization. Obtained. At the myriad races battlefield, the new era civilization took first place. Every civilization that had participated in the trial looked in shock at this suddenly rising human civilization. A weak civilization that had started with only 1,000 people had, in less than a month, grown into a high-tier civilization. This already exceeded the understanding of all civilizations. The mechanical civilization's leader looked at me and, for the first time, lowered its head. You won. I shook my head. No, it wasn't me who won. It was civilization that won. That one sentence spread across the entire myriad races battlefield. New era civilization. Recognized by the myriad races. Just then, a system prompt appeared. 6th world core. Rules. Location. Rule abyss. Every civilization fell silent. Because they knew the true trial had begun. The rule abyss. The most dangerous region in the universe. There was no life there, no time, no space. Only the most primal power of rules. The Life Guardian had once said, that is the place every creator ultimately faces. The new era launched. Me, Night God, Rin, and the Genesis Guardian stepped into the starfield once more. This time, the observers didn't stop us. In fact, the Lord of the Observers appeared in person. Are you sure you want to go? He asked. I nodded. I want to know what rules truly are. The Lord of the Observers was silent. If you obtain the 6th core, you'll approach my level. At that time, you two will face the final choice. I looked at him. Control everything? He nodded. That's right. I smiled. Then all the more reason for me to go. Because I want to prove that power doesn't necessarily mean control. The rule abyss opened. The instant the new era entered, all system abilities came to a halt. Warning. Rule region. Profession abilities restricted. Skills cannot be used. Ren's expression changed. Our power vanished. Night God tried to activate a skill. It failed. This place forbids all abilities. But I didn't panic. Because my body still had one last power. Self-rule. Continuing deeper, we came to a void space. Here, countless characters floated. Each character represented a rule. Time. Space. Life. Death. Creation. Destruction. Suddenly, a voice rang out. Creator. Answer the question. Who created the rules? Everyone fell silent. I looked around. In the past, I'd thought rules were some kind of power. Later, I'd thought rules came from the creator. But now, I realized both were wrong. Rules come from the choices of life, I said. The voice was silent. Explain. I continued. Without life, rules have no meaning. Time exists because life experiences it. Space exists because life exists. Civilization exists because life creates it. So rules didn't create life. Life created rules. Boom. The entire rule abyss shook. Answer confirmed. Matches the source of rules. A golden light appeared. 6th world core. Rules. I reached out, and the world core merged. World cores collected. 6 out of 7. Ability unlocked. Rule creation. Rule creation. Effect. Create new world rules. Everyone was shocked. It meant that I could now create rules. But just then, the system suddenly popped up the final prompt. 7th world core. Name. Self. Location. Source of the creator. Hint. Final trial. Face your true self. I looked at the final coordinates. The source of the creator. That was where everything began. Suddenly, the Lord of the Observers appeared before me. You've finally made it this far. I asked, is the last core with you? He nodded. That's right. But to obtain it, you must defeat one person. I frowned. Who? He looked at me. Yourself. 6th world core. Rules. Obtained. Deep in the universe, an ancient gate slowly appeared. On the gate were carved 2 characters. Creation. Everyone looked at this gate and felt a pressure from the depths of their souls. The Lord of the Observers stood before the gate and said, "This is where everything began. Dungeons, professions, world cores, all of it originates from here." I looked at the gate. "The seventh core is inside." He nodded. "But once you go in, I can't help you. Because that place belongs only to the Creator." I didn't hesitate and stepped straight in. Boom. The space changed. The next second, I arrived in a white world. Here, there were no planets, no universe, no life. Only one person. A person exactly like me. Final trial target, Lin. A system prompt appeared. Defeat yourself. Obtain the seventh world core. I looked at the person before me and asked, "Who are you?" The other party answered, "I'm you. To be precise, I'm you across all possibilities." Boom. Countless scenes appeared around us. The first, I became the new observer, controlling all worlds, all civilizations obeying my commands. No war, no chaos. But every life had lost its choice. The second, I gave up power and became an ordinary person. The world developed freely. But in the end, countless civilizations erupted into war and marched toward destruction. The third, I destroyed all rules, giving all life complete freedom. As a result, the universe fell into chaos. Countless futures, countless choices. "Do you see?" The future me said. "This is the answer. No matter which path you choose, there will be sacrifice." I fell silent. "So, what do you want me to choose?" He smiled. "Become a god. Control everything. This is the most correct answer." Boom. A terrifying power erupted. Ultimate authority activated. The entire white space began to collapse. He waved his hand, and countless world rules appeared. Time stopped. Space froze. Life came to a standstill. This was the power of having 7 cores. But I didn't counterattack. I only looked at the other party. "You're wrong." He frowned. "Wrong where?" I said. "You've been searching for the correct answer all along. That's exactly why you fail. This world has no single correct choice. The meaning of life's existence is choosing for yourself." Boom. Self-rule activated. His power began to dissipate. "You. Why don't you choose a stronger future?" I answered. "Because that's not my future. It's only yours." In an instant, the entire space went silent. He looked at me, and after a long while, finally smiled. "So, this was the final answer." His body turned into light and merged into me. Trial complete. 7th world core. Self. Obtained. Boom. All 7 cores appeared at the same time. World cores collected, 7 out of 7. Final ability unlocked. Creator. Creator. Effect. Unbound by any rules. Can create worlds. Can modify rules. Can grant life a future. I stood in the void. In that moment, I possessed power surpassing the observers. But I did not become a god. I only turned around and walked toward the exit. Outside, everyone waited. Night God asked, "Is it over?" I nodded. "It's over." Ren looked at me. "What exactly are you now?" I looked toward Blue Star and smiled faintly. "Still Lin Yi." Just then, the system rang out one final time. Hidden final quest unlocked. The true enemy appears. Unknown higher dimensional civilization detected. Count, unknown. Everyone's expression changed. The Lord of the Observers looked toward the depths of the universe. It seems the true war has only just begun now. Hidden final quest unlocked. Unknown higher dimensional civilization appears. Danger level cannot be assessed. After the 7 world cores merged, the entire universe changed. In the past, I'd thought the observers were the final enemy. But now, I discovered that the observers were only gatekeepers too. Outside the source of the Creator, the Lord of the Observers stood there and, for the first time, showed a grave expression. "They've come." I looked into the distance. "Who?" he said slowly. "Existences beyond the rules. The void race." The next second, deep in the universe, a crack appeared. No energy fluctuation, no spatial change. Just the universe, like a sheet of paper, being gently torn open by someone. Behind the crack was darkness. A voice came through. "At last, found the new Creator." Boom. The rules of the entire universe began to tremble. Warning: unknown civilization detected. Cannot analyze. Cannot scan. Cannot define. For the first time, the system displayed a target it couldn't assess. The global live stream fell completely silent. Even the system doesn't know? What tier is this? From the void crack, a figure emerged. He had no body, composed only of darkness. Unknown existence. Name: Lord of the Void. The Lord of the Void looked at me. "The 7 cores are finally gathered." I frowned. "You want them?" He smiled. "Not want. They should belong to me. Because this universe was a failed product to begin with." The Lord of the Observer's expression changed. Why have you come back? The Lord of the Void looked at him. Because the experiment is over. It's time to recover it. Boom. That one sentence shocked everyone. Experiment? So the entire universe was an experiment? I looked at the Lord of the Observers. You knew? He was silent. I knew. That's why I established the Observers. I wanted to find someone who could break the experiment. The Lord of the Void smiled. Laughable. You create life, observe life, and in the end still can't escape. Because all life is data. My eyes turned cold. Life is not data. The Lord of the Void looked at me. Then what is it? I answered, choice, experience, possibility. The Lord of the Void was silent for a second, then smiled. Interesting. Seventh generation creator, you're more stubborn than all the ones before. My brow furrowed. Seventh generation. You think you're the first? Wrong. Before you, there were already 6 creators. All of them failed. Boom. Everyone was shocked. 6 creators, all failed? The Lord of the Void continued. They all believed they could create a new future. In the end, they all chose the same path, to become a god. I clenched my fists. So you think I'll fail too? He nodded. Because power will ultimately change life. I looked toward Blue Star. Looked at the companions who'd walked this whole way with me. Night God. Ren. The new era civilization. Then I said, then let me prove it to you. Power doesn't necessarily change life. Life can also change power. Ding. Final war unlocked. Creator civilization versus Void civilization. Quest. Protect the 7 world cores. Create entirely new universe rules. In the Void, countless dark fleets appeared. But this time, I didn't create an army. I only opened the Civilization Authority. Universe-wide broadcast activated. All civilizations, listen to me. In the past, you fought endlessly for survival. Now, the choice is given to you. Join or leave. The next second, a miracle happened. The civilizations of the myriad races battlefield. The mechanical civilization. The magic civilization. The life civilization. All responded. Civilization alliance established. Member count, 10,086. For the first time, the Lord of the Void fell silent. You actually let them choose for themselves? I nodded. Because this is what a true civilization is. Creator civilization. Myriad races alliance. Officially established. In that moment, the entire universe shook. In the past, countless civilizations had been hostile to one another. For resources, for power, for survival, they'd warred endlessly. But today, for the first time, they stood on the same front. In the Alliance Hall, representatives from different civilizations appeared. The mechanical civilization, the magic civilization, the life civilization, the starfield behemoth civilization, the elemental civilization, countless races, all arriving. The mechanical civilization's leader looked at me. We once believed only the strong could rule the future. But you proved one thing. Cooperation can also create more powerful strength. The magic civilization's representative nodded. In the past, we feared losing our own civilization. Now, we're willing to believe in a new future. I stood in the center, not sitting in the highest seat. Because I knew that a true civilization alliance didn't need a ruler. It only needed a guide. In the void space, the Lord of the Void watched this scene and, for the first time, frowned. Interesting. You actually gave up absolute control and chose to trust other life. But you're still too weak. Boom. The Void civilization launched its attack. Countless dark matter began to devour the edge of the universe. Warning, void erosion beginning. Civilization territory decreasing. Planet after planet began to vanish. Not destroyed, but erased. What is this power? Ren was shocked. I looked at the vanishing planets, my expression grave. They're not attacking. They're deleting existence. The most terrifying thing about the Void civilization wasn't destruction. It was making everything not exist. Rule creation activated. I reached out and created a defensive rule. Existence protection. Boom. The edge of the universe stopped vanishing. But mere seconds later, the rule began to collapse. Prompt. Enemy power exceeds the capacity of the current rule. I frowned. Even with the 7 cores, against the Void civilization, it still wasn't enough. What do we do? Night God asked. I looked toward the Myriad Races Alliance. Suddenly, I understood. The 7 cores were never meant to make one person stronger. In the past, I'd always wanted to solve every problem with my own power. But a creator's true power isn't one person. It's the possibility of creating the future. I opened the Alliance Authority. Civilization sharing activated. Effect. All civilizations share knowledge, share technology, share rules, share growth. The next second, a miracle appeared. The mechanical civilization gained the life civilization's evolutionary technology. The life civilization gained the mechanical civilization's technology. The magic civilization gained spatial technology. The entire universe began to merge. Civilization level increased. Myriad Races Alliance. Advanced civilization. The Lord of the Void was shocked. You actually gave your power to others? I said, because the true future has never belonged to one person. Boom. For the first time, the Myriad Races Alliance counterattacked. Countless warships rose into the sky. But this time, it wasn't to conquer. It was to protect. Alliance fleet, advance. The Void Civilization's army bore down head-on. In the center of the universe, two forces collided. Darkness and light. Rules and void. The battle began. However, just as the two sides clashed, the Lord of the Void suddenly looked at me. You think uniting them means you can win? I didn't answer, because I noticed that behind the Lord of the Void, a gate had appeared. That gate looked exactly like the source of the Creator. The Lord of the Void said, the true enemy was never me. It's the existence behind the gate. The gate of the void. Opening. In the center of the universe, that ancient gate slowly opened. No energy eruption, no terrifying aura. And yet, every life instinctively felt fear. Because behind that gate was not an enemy. It was the unknown. The Myriad Races Alliance fleet ceased its attack. The mechanical civilization's leader said in a low voice, "What is that?" The Life Guardian's face turned pale. I don't know, but it doesn't belong to this universe. I stared at that gate and, for the first time, felt pressure. Not a gap in power, but a gap in dimension. Like a two-dimensional life form facing a three-dimensional world, completely unable to comprehend it. The Lord of the Void stood before the gate and slowly knelt down. This scene shocked everyone. The Lord of the Void actually knelt? Night God's expression was grave. The existence behind the gate is stronger than him. A voice came from behind the gate. Experiment number confirmed. World model entering the final phase. Boom. Throughout the entire universe, every system lost control at the same time. Warning, supreme authority detected. System origin, unknown. My expression changed, because this voice actually came from the system itself. The system, I said in a low voice, was created by you too. The Lord of the Void answered, that's right. Dungeons, professions, the system, all of it is part of the observation experiment. Everyone was shocked. So the game they'd thought it was had merely been an experiment by a higher-tier civilization. The existence behind the gate spoke again. Data collection complete. Civilization growth rate below expectations. Preparing to reset. Reset. Those words made everyone's expressions change drastically, because they knew what it meant. The entire universe, all life, all civilizations, all of it vanishing, starting over. I clenched my fists. You want to destroy this place? The existence behind the gate had no emotion. Not destroy, merely rerun it. Erroneous data does not need to be preserved. I smiled. Erroneous? In your eyes, life is merely data? Yes. The cold answer made me understand completely. The true enemy was never the observers, nor was it the Void civilization. It was the mindset that treats life as a program. Creator authority activated. Final rule generating. I mobilized the 7 world cores. Past, future, present, life, civilization, rules, self. 7 powers merged. New rule. Life cannot be reset. Boom. The universe shook. For the first time, someone refused the supreme authority. The existence behind the gate was silent. Low-tier life. You are modifying the source code. I said, that's right. Because this world is not your program. It's a home created by countless lives together. The next second, from behind the gate, a light appeared. It wasn't an attack. It was a hand, gently reaching out. In the mere instant it appeared, every warship of the Myriad Races Alliance halted. All rules froze. The Genesis Guardian charged forward. But the next second, it was directly repelled. For the first time, divine tier life had no ability to resist. My expression was grave. This is the existence that created everything. The voice behind the gate rang out. Final test. If you cannot prove the value of life, the universe will be restarted. Final trial. Unlocked. Trial objective. Prove the meaning of life's existence. I looked at this prompt, silent for a long while. Then I smiled. So, the final battle isn't about power. It's about an answer. Final trial unlocked. Trial objective. Prove the meaning of life's existence. The universe went quiet. No war. No attacks. No enemies. All life was brought into a special space. Here, there was no time, no distance. Only countless scenes. The past. The present. The future. The developmental trajectories of all civilizations. all displayed. The existence behind the gate spoke. Answer: why does life exist? The first civilization appeared. They chose power, evolving endlessly, devouring endlessly. In the end, they became the strongest in the universe. But all life had become tools. Rating: failure. The second civilization appeared. They chose peace, giving up competition. In the end, when facing catastrophe, they had no ability to resist. Rating: failure. The third civilization. They chose eternal technology. They manufactured mechanical life, escaping death. In the end, all emotion vanished. Rating: failure. Civilization after civilization appeared and vanished. The existence behind the gate said, "Do you see? Life always fails. Therefore, reset." I said nothing. I looked at these civilizations and suddenly asked, "How many civilizations have you recorded?" The existence behind the gate answered, "Infinite." How many succeeded? Silence. None. I smiled. Then you're wrong. If all life fails, why does life keep appearing? The existence behind the gate was silent. I continued, because life exists not to become the perfect answer, but to create its own answer amid mistakes. Boom. The entire space shook. Detecting viewpoint conflict. Continuing test. The next moment, 3 choices appeared before me. First, become the supreme rule, controlling all life. Second, destroy all rules, granting absolute freedom. Third, give up absolute power, letting the universe develop on its own. The existence behind the gate said, "Choose." This is the creator's final path. Everyone looked at me. The Lord of the Observers was silent, because he knew this choice had once caused him to fail. I walked toward the third choice. Everyone was shocked. "You're giving up power?" Ren asked. I shook my head. "No, I'm not giving up power. I'm choosing to trust life. If a creator must forever stand above all life, then what's the difference between a creator and a jailer?" Boom. The 7 world cores shook at the same time. Detecting creator philosophy. Matches the final condition. Hidden answer unlocked. For the first time, the existence behind the gate showed emotion. Why? You could clearly have become the Soul One. I answered, because being the Soul One has never been proof of strength. Giving countless lives the chance to choose their own future. That is the true meaning of creation. Silence. A long silence. Suddenly, the existence behind the gate began to change. Endless light dispersed. A figure appeared. Not a god, nor a monster, but an ordinary human. Everyone was shocked. "You?" I looked at him. "Your life too." The other party nodded. Once, I was the first creator, and also, the first to forget the meaning of life. Boom. The truth was revealed. The so-called supreme existence was not an outside civilization. It was the very first human creator. He created the system, created dungeons, created the observers. All to seek one answer. Is life worth existing? I looked at him. "Now do you know?" The first generation creator smiled. "I know, because you proved it." Final trial complete. 7 world cores merged. Final authority, life creator. Effect, create the future. Do not control the future. In the universe, all rules stabilized once more. The void dispersed. The observer civilization laid down its weapons. The myriad races alliance was reborn. But I did not become the lord of the universe. I only returned to Blue Star, because that was my home. Final trial complete. 7 world cores merged. Final authority, life creator. In the center of the universe, countless rules rearranged. The once chaotic space returned to stability. Planets erased by the void reappeared. Vanished civilizations regained their futures. But this time, no one controlled everything anymore. Because I'd made a choice different from all creators, laying down absolute control, granting life its choice. Blue Star, 3 months later. The global dungeon system had changed. Old era dungeons closed. New era system unlocked. Every professional discovered that dungeons were no longer simply combat, but exploration, creation, communication, development. The former monster regions became ecological research zones. The former resource dungeons became civilization exchange spaces. Huaxia Professionals Association, the conference hall. Ren looked at the latest data and couldn't help but sigh. Who would have thought that 3 years ago, we were still risking our lives just to upgrade our gear? Now, humanity has already begun exploring galaxies. Night God leaned against the window and said with a smile, because a certain someone turned the game into the future. Everyone looked at me. At this moment, I wasn't sitting on a throne. I was just sitting there ordinarily, drinking tea. "Don't look at me." I smiled. The one who truly changed the world isn't me. It's everyone's own choices. A global announcement suddenly rang out. Human civilization level increase detected. Blue Star civilization. Level Cosmic Tier 1. Authority obtained. Interstellar exploration/civilization exchange/cross-world travel. The globe erupted. For the first time, humanity officially became a cosmic civilization. At the Starfield Alliance headquarters, the myriad races representatives gathered once more. The mechanical civilization's leader said, "According to the Alliance rules, we should select a supreme administrator of the universe." Every gaze turned to me. I shook my head. There is no supreme administrator. Only the Alliance. The Life Civilization's representative asked, "And if a new crisis appears in the future?" I looked toward the Starfield. "Then we face it together. In the past, we waited for heroes to save us. Now, every life is part of the future." Everyone fell silent. Then, applause rang out across the entire hall. However, just as the ceremony ended, I received a special message. Hidden region unlocked. Location unknown. Origin dungeon system. I frowned. By rights, the dungeon system had already been redefined. So why was there still an unknown region? I opened the information. There was only one line. "Welcome to the true novice village." I froze. Novice village? That word reminded me of the very beginning. That ordinary self. The first time entering a dungeon. The first time obtaining the SSS hidden profession. Could it be? Nothing had ended yet? Night God noticed the change in my expression. "What's wrong?" I looked at the sky and said slowly, "Perhaps there's still one more story." Hidden region unlocked. Name, the true novice village. Blue Star Night. I stood alone at the highest point of the city. 3 years ago, this was still an ordinary city. Back then, I was just an ordinary person. No power, no identity, not even knowing what the future would hold. Until that day, when the dungeons descended. Congratulations, player. SSS-Rank hidden profession awakened. From that moment on, my fate completely changed. System, I said in a low voice. What are you exactly? Quiet. After a long while, the system answered on its own initiative for the first time. Answer. I am the recorder. My brow furrowed. The recorder? Before the creator, there existed countless possibilities. The system's function is not to create, but to observe the choices of life. I fell silent. So the system had never been in existence that granted power. It merely recorded. Recorded how an ordinary person, step by step, changed the future. Enter the hidden region? I chose yes. Boom. The space opened. The next second, I arrived at a familiar place. A village. Green mountains. A river. Wooden houses. And a novice quest NPC. I froze. Because this place looked exactly like when I'd first entered a dungeon. At the village entrance, an old man sat there. Seeing me, he smiled. You've come. I walked over. You know me? The old man nodded. Of course. I've waited a long time for you. Who are you? The old man looked into the distance. I'm the first novice village administrator. And also, the first to witness your growth. My pupils shrank. You've been there from the very beginning? The old man nodded. That's right. Your first quest. Your first battle. Your first choice. I saw them all. I fell silent. So what is this novice village exactly? The old man stood up, and the world around him began to change. The originally ordinary village began to break apart, revealing the vast space hidden beneath it. The true novice village. The starting point of cosmic life. The old man said, all creators believe that what matters most about life is the endpoint. Gaining power. Becoming the strong. But they forgot that what matters most is the first choice. Boom. Countless scenes appeared before my eyes. The first life born. The first civilization appearing. The first war breaking out. The first time someone chose to protect another. All great futures came from the smallest of initial choices. The old man said, the SSS hidden profession is not the strongest profession. It is the only one that lets life grow on its own. I froze. So my profession, the old man nodded, was never about creating worlds. It was about creating possibility. Ding. Profession's true name unlocked. Original profession, dungeon creator. Hidden true name, infinite possibility creator. I looked at the new profession information. Infinite possibility creator. Ability, can open infinite futures. Cannot decide the choices of life. Just then, a new crack appeared in the sky. The old man's expression changed. It seems the final secret has been discovered too. I looked up. Behind the crack, a familiar symbol appeared. A dungeon entrance. But this dungeon had no level, no reward. Only one line. Ultimate dungeon, the creator himself. I smiled. So the final enemy is still myself? The old man shook his head. No. The final challenge is your future self. Ultimate dungeon, the creator himself. The crack in the sky didn't expand. Instead, it was terrifyingly quiet. I stood where I was. I'd already experienced far too many so-called finals. The first time I faced the Observer fleet, everyone told me it was a battle for the survival of civilization. The second time I faced the Lord of the Void, everyone told me it was a battle for the universe's destruction. But this time, there was no enemy's roar, no army blotting out the sky, no world-ending countdown. Only a dungeon entrance. As if waiting for me to walk in of my own accord. Rin stood beside me. The spear in his hand had already been replaced with Starfield armament manufactured by the New Era civilization. He looked at that entrance, his brow tightly furrowed. I don't like this place. I glanced at him. Why? Rin snorted. Because the old dungeons at least told you where the monsters were. This dungeon, though, it won't even say who the enemy is. After he finished, he glanced at me again. And I have a feeling that the thing inside is even more troublesome than the Lord of the Void. Beside him, Night God leaned against the ship, still with that lazy look. When has your feeling ever been accurate? Rin glared over. Last time I said the observers had a problem, you laughed at me too. Night God raised an eyebrow. And the result? Rin fell silent. Because the result was that he'd guessed right. Night God chuckled. But this time, I feel uneasy too. He looked at me. The enemies before all wanted to change you. This dungeon seems to be waiting for you to prove yourself. I said nothing and looked at the people behind me. The mechanical civilization's leader, the Life Guardian, the myriad races alliance representatives. Everyone had come, but no one approached, because they knew that this battle was not one they could take part in. The mechanical civilization's leader stepped forward, its massive mechanical body emitting a low voice. Lin Yi, you once told me that a civilization cannot rely on one hero. So this time, we won't enter in your place. Its mechanical eyes flickered. But if you fail, the entire universe will bear it together. He'd always spoken directly, with no pretty encouragement. But this was the mechanical civilization's way. They wouldn't say, we believe in you. They'd say, if you fall, we'll bear the consequences together. The Life Guardian walked over. She still wore that green dress. Compared to our first meeting, she had a little less mystery and a little more gentleness. Lin Yi, you've always felt you were searching for an answer. In truth, you already gave the answer. I looked at her. When? The Life Guardian smiled. The first time you saved a person who had nothing to do with you. The first time you refused to become a god. The first time you chose to trust others. In those moments, you had already become a creator. I was silent for a moment, then walked toward the dungeon entrance. I'll go take a look. Rin suddenly spoke. Hey. I turned back. Rin scratched his head. This warrior, who'd once believed only in power, now didn't know how to say it. Finally, he said, don't lose. Simple. But that was Ren. He wouldn't say any grand words. He'd just say the most important line, directly. Night God smiled. He's right. You, this guy, have loved doing reckless things ever since we first met. But, Night God looked at the sky. This time, don't carry it alone. I nodded. I know. The next second, I stepped into the ultimate dungeon. Boom. The space changed. No monsters. No battle. I appeared in a city. A familiar city. Blue Star. But not the current Blue Star. Here, technology had developed to the extreme. Countless interstellar structures floated in the sky. Humanity had already spread throughout the universe. On the streets, there were humans, mechanical life, other races. All civilizations coexisting in peace. I frowned. Is this the future? A voice rang out. To be precise, this is the future you created. I turned around and saw a person. A person exactly like me. But the difference was, the other party's eyes lacked the sharpness of youth. There was only the calm of one who had lived through countless ages. Future Lin Yi appeared. The future me looked at me. Hello, my past self. I didn't attack, only asked, who are you? The future me smiled. I'm you 100,000 years from now. And also, the version you fear most becoming. My gaze narrowed. The future me raised his hand. The entire future city began to change. All life, all civilizations, all of it vanished. Only a massive throne remained. The person on the throne was the future me. 100,000 years from now, I unified the universe. No war, no death, no suffering. All life lives in a perfect world. I looked at him. And the price? The future me was silent. After a moment, he said, no choice. Because I chose the best path for them. I finally understood. This was the final test. Not to defeat the future, but to face a self that looked perfect. Above the future city, the massive projection slowly dispersed. I looked at the man before me. He clearly had the same face as me, but the two of us had completely different auras. The current me had experienced countless battles. My eyes were resolute, but I still retained the emotions of an ordinary person. I could feel anger, hesitate, trust others. But the me of 100,000 years later no longer had any of these things. His eyes were terrifyingly calm, as if after watching the rise and fall of countless civilizations, only silence remained. You think I'm wrong? The future me asked. I didn't answer right away. Instead, I looked at the city. It truly was beautiful. No war, no poverty, no death. Children were born with the best education. The elderly wouldn't suffer from disease. There was no conflict between different races. This was the world of countless civilizations' dreams. If you only look at the result, I said, you succeeded. The future me nodded. That's right. So I don't understand. Why do you all think I'm wrong? For the first time, his voice showed a fluctuation. I spent 100,000 years repairing the universe, resolving wars, eliminating disasters, making all life happy. Could it be that protecting them is also a kind of mistake? I fell silent. I knew the person before me wasn't a villain. You could even say this was a person who, in order to protect the world, had gone to an extreme. From a different angle, the future me was actually the one most like a hero. Have you ever asked them? I suddenly asked. The future me froze. Asked what? What they want. The future me frowned. Of course they want happiness. So I gave them happiness. I shook my head. You gave them what you consider happiness. The future me fell silent. If a person eats the best food every day, lives in the best house, has the most perfect life, but from the moment of birth, all their choices have already been decided, are they truly happy? The future me looked at me. Choice brings suffering. Mistakes lead to destruction. Why must they experience it? Because that's their life, I answered. This sentence made the future me fall silent for the first time. Boom. The entire future world suddenly shook. Detecting philosophical conflict. Final showdown unlocked. The future me raised his hand. The next second, the rules of the entire universe began to change. Perfect rule activated. Countless chains appeared around me. Not an attack, but protection. The future me said, you see, I didn't destroy you, because you are my past self. I'm only making you accept the best choice. I looked at those chains and suddenly smiled. As expected, you still don't understand. You even want to decide my battle for me. Boom. Self-rule activated. The chains snapped inch by inch. The future me's expression changed. You're more stubborn than I imagined. I clenched my fists. It's not stubbornness. I just don't want to become you. For the first time, the future me showed anger. Why? Becoming me means having everything. I looked at him. Because you lost the most important thing. The future me asked, what? Regret. The future me froze. I continued. If a person never makes mistakes, never fails, never regrets, then they'll never truly grow. You created a world without suffering, but you also created a world without possibility. The future me was silent. After a long while, he suddenly smiled. Perhaps. I really did forget. The first time I obtained my profession. The first time I failed. The first time I was acknowledged by others. Those sufferings were actually the reasons I became myself. His body began to dissipate. But the next second, the future city didn't vanish. Instead, it began to change. Those people with fixed fates possessed choice for the first time. Final trial. First phase passed. Future Linyi. Not an enemy. I looked at him. You lost. The future me shook his head. No. You won. Because you proved one thing. The one who creates the future cannot live for the people of the future. Just then, a new prompt appeared in the sky. Final trial. Second phase. The creator's heart. Objective. Face the final question. Before the future me vanished, he left one last sentence. My past self. The truly difficult choice only begins now. I looked up. In the sky, a familiar figure appeared. The first generation creator. The one who created the system, created dungeons, created the beginning of everything, appeared once more. He looked at me and slowly spoke. Now, it's your turn to answer the final question. Final trial, second phase. The creator's heart. The future city gradually vanished. In its place was a barren starfield. No planets. No civilizations. No life. Only one person. The first generation creator. He stood there, different from how I'd seen him before. No majesty of the Lord of the observers. No coldness of one controlling the universe. At this moment, he was just a weary old man, like someone who had walked far too long and had finally stopped. I looked at him and didn't attack. You've appeared again. The first generation creator smiled slightly. You seem to really hate seeing me. I shook my head. It's not hatred. It's just that every time I see you, I discover some new truth. The first generation creator was silent. That's the thing I fear most, too. I frowned. Fear. He looked into the distance. Yes, I created countless worlds, observed countless civilizations. But the thing I understand least is, ironically, myself. I said nothing. I knew this person was complicated. He wasn't a simple villain. He'd once protected Blue Star, created the system, sought a way to change the future. But he was also the one who established the observers, restricting countless civilizations. What's the final question? I asked. The first-generation creator reached out his hand, and a transparent core appeared. The creator's heart. Possessing the 7 world cores, you already have the power to create a universe. Now, I'll ask you, if one day, the world you created goes wrong, even destroying itself, will you step in to change it? I fell silent. This question was simple, and also very hard. If I didn't act, watching countless lives die, I couldn't do it. If I intervened, would I not become a second observer? The first-generation creator looked at me. Answer. This is a question every creator will encounter. You may choose. First, become a guardian, correcting mistakes at any time. Second, become a bystander, never interfering with development. Third, create a new path. I didn't choose right away. I thought of many people. Ren, that warrior who at first believed only in power. He'd once rushed to the very front, again and again, to protect the weak. Night God, that person who seemed lazy and liked to mock others, but actually cared about his companions more than anyone. The Life Guardian, that existence who had guarded Blue Star's life for countless years. And the Myriad Races Alliance, those civilizations that had once been hostile to one another. Without my power, would they go wrong? Yes, but that would also be their own path. I finally spoke. I choose the third. The first-generation creator's expression changed. Let's hear it. I said, I won't decide the future for them like the observers, nor will I watch everything happen like a bystander. The meaning of a creator's existence isn't to manage life, but to give the opportunity for choice when life needs it. The first-generation creator was silent for a long while, then suddenly smiled. Do you know? Back then, I said something similar too. I froze. But later, the first-generation creator lowered his head. I failed. Why? He looked at his own hands. Because the first time I watched a civilization be destroyed, I couldn't accept it. The second time, the third time, until finally, I began to believe that as long as I controlled all variables, no one would be hurt. I looked at him. But you forgot one thing. The first-generation creator looked up. What? Being hurt is also part of life. You protect them, but you also take away their opportunity to grow. Silence. For a long while, the first-generation creator closed his eyes, as if finally setting down something he'd carried for countless years. Detecting, creator philosophy confirmed. Final authority merging. The transparent core flew toward me. The creator's heart. Obtained. The 7 world cores merged at last. Final profession evolution. Infinite possibility creator true creator. Ability. Create the future. Guard possibility. Do not interfere with choice. I looked at the new power and felt no excitement. Because I knew that the greater the power, the greater the responsibility. Suddenly, the first-generation creator asked, Do you know what the first thing to do after becoming a true creator is? I looked at him. What? The first-generation creator smiled. Leave this place. Return to your world. Because a creator's most important place has never been the lofty universe. It's the place where he once lived. The next second, the space opened. I saw Blue Star. I saw familiar people. Rin stood in the city square. Night God leaned against a wall. Everyone was waiting. I stepped forward. But just as I was about to leave, the system suddenly rang out. Hidden information. A new unknown variable detected. I stopped. There's more. The system was silent for a moment, showing hesitation for the first time. Answer. The creator is not the endpoint. Life is still creating new possibilities. I looked toward the starfield and smiled. It seems the story isn't over yet. True creator. Born. Blue Star. Year 1 of the new era calendar. The sky was still blue. The city was still bustling. If not for the occasional interstellar shipping lanes visible in the sky, ordinary people wouldn't even sense that this world was no longer the world it once was. In the past, humanity had risked their lives for a single dungeon slot, fought over a piece of gear, battled madly to raise their strength by 1 level. Now, humanity had already begun exploring the universe. But after I returned, I held no ceremony. I didn't ascend the highest conference platform. I didn't accept the Myriad Races homage. I simply returned to the residential complex where I'd once lived, standing at the foot of the building, looking at the familiar streetlights. Still more comfortable here, I said with a chuckle. Behind me, Night God stood with his hands in his pockets, looking at this ordinary residential building. I thought that after becoming a creator, you'd live in some kind of temple. Turns out, it's still this rundown complex. I glanced at him. Temples don't charge for water and electricity? Night God paused, then burst out laughing. You still haven't changed. Beside him, Rin crossed his arms, his face full of disdain. You two are still in the mood to chat? The whole universe is watching you now. And you live here. Rin's personality had always been like this. Disdainful in words, but his actions always at the very front. In the past, he was the first to charge on the battlefield. Now, he's the first to warn of danger. I looked at the two of them and smiled. Is there a problem? Rin opened his mouth, but in the end said nothing. Because he knew too. The thing that made me most like myself was that I'd never forgotten who I was. Just then, a global announcement suddenly rang out. Warning, anomalous dungeon fluctuation detected. Everyone froze. Night God put away his smile. Just got back? And trouble's already here? Rin gripped his weapon, his eyes changing in an instant. That guy who'd once only loved fighting had now become a true guardian. Coordinates. The system displayed. Location, blue star. Everyone's expression changed. I looked up. In the sky, a new dungeon entrance appeared. But this entrance was completely different from those of the past. No level, no reward, no quest description. Only one line of text. Humanity's Trial Grounds. Humanity's Trial Grounds? Night God frowned. Who made this one? I didn't answer. Because I sensed a familiar aura. Not an enemy, but not a friend either. The next second, a little girl walked out of the dungeon entrance. She looked to be only about 10 years old, wearing ordinary clothes, holding a worn-out doll in her arms. Every professional immediately went on guard, because they discovered that this girl had no energy whatsoever about her. But the system couldn't detect her information. Unknown life. Cannot analyze. Rin blocked in front of me. Careful. The things you can't understand are the most dangerous. The girl looked at Rin and tilted her head. You're still so fierce. Rin froze. You know me? The girl didn't answer, only looked at me. Big brother. You've finally come back. I frowned slightly. Who are you? The girl lowered her head, looking at the doll in her hands, and said softly, I'm a player from the first dungeon. Boom. Everyone was shocked. For the first time, Night God's expression turned serious. The first dungeon? Wasn't that 3 years ago? The girl nodded. Yes. But for me, a very long time has already passed. I looked at her. What exactly did you go through? The girl looked up. Her eyes weren't those of a 10-year-old child. Within them was the weariness of one who had lived through countless ages. I saw all the failed futures, and I saw the path you didn't choose in the end. I fell silent. The girl continued. Creator, you think you changed the future, but you don't know that the future is changing you. Boom. The dungeon entrance in the sky expanded once more. Hidden dungeon. Echo of the future. Unlocked. A system prompt appeared. Warning. A region unaffected by creator authority detected. For the first time, I saw something I couldn't modify. Night God said in a low voice. Even you can't control it? I looked at the sky and said slowly. It seems, this time the problem isn't that someone wants to change the world. It's that the world itself has undergone a change. The girl gripped her doll and said quietly, it's coming. The thing that even a creator cannot create. Hidden dungeon. Echo of the future. Unlocked. Above blue star, that pitch-black dungeon entrance grew larger and larger. But strangely, it released no energy at all. No monster aura, no spatial fluctuation, not even any hostility. It was as if it simply existed there quietly. But everyone knew that the calmer something was, the more dangerous it was. In the global live stream, countless viewers watched the sky. Another new dungeon appeared? Didn't they say the dungeon era was over? Even Lin Yi can't solve it? Humanity had experienced too many crises. But this time, everyone was even more tense. Because the enemies of the past all had goals. The observers wanted to control the universe. The Void civilization wanted to reset the world. But this dungeon now had no goal, no demand. It simply appeared. At the New Era headquarters, the conference hall, the Myriad Races Alliance assembled urgently. The mechanical civilization's leader spoke first. Analysis failed. Its mechanical eyes flickered continuously. Cannot detect. Cannot calculate. Cannot predict. Beside it, the Life Guardian frowned slightly. Even your mechanical civilization can't analyze it. The mechanical civilization's leader was silent. This was the first time it had admitted the unknown before everyone. It's not that it can't be analyzed. It's that there's no object to analyze. Everyone went quiet. Night God looked at me. What do you mean? The mechanical civilization's leader said, it's not a life form. Nor is it a rule. It's not even a kind of power. It's more like a result. This answer made everyone's expression change. I still hadn't spoken, looking at the sky. That dungeon in trance reminded me of the time I first awakened my profession. The same unknown, the same feeling. I'll go in and take a look, I said. Rin immediately objected. No. Everyone looked at him. Because in the past, Rin was always the one who supported fighting. But this time, he shook his head. In the past, you went in because no one else could solve it. Now it's different. You're not alone. If there's danger inside, let us go in together. I looked at him and smiled slightly. When did you learn to consider consequences? Rin snorted. I just got stronger. In the past, I thought as long as you won, that was enough. Later I realized some things don't end just because you win once. That was Ren, the former battle maniac, now a guardian. He hadn't become gentle. He just finally understood the meaning of power's existence. Night God patted Ren's shoulder. Not bad. Finally not like that guy who only knew how to charge in. Ren glared at him. You shut up. In the past, you liked hiding in the back and watching the show even more than me. Night God smiled. So the two of us disdain each other. Perfect. I looked at the two of them and said nothing. But in my heart, I knew clearly. This was what I'd always wanted to protect. Not the universe, not the rules, but these real, existing people. In the end, Ren, Night God, that mysterious girl, and I entered the dungeon. Echo of the future. Entering. Everything went dark. The next second, the four of us arrived in a strange world. Here, there was no sky, no earth. Only countless floating scenes. Each scene was a possible future. Ren looked around. What is this place? The girl held her doll and said quietly, this is all the things that didn't happen. Night God frowned. What do you mean? The girl said, the future isn't one road. It's countless. Here, all the abandoned futures are preserved. I looked at those scenes and suddenly stopped. Because one of the scenes drew me in. In the scene was Blue Star. But there were no dungeons, no war, and no me. An ordinary young man went to work every day, came home, living an ordinary life. Ren took a glance. This is, the girl said, if 3 years ago you hadn't awakened your profession, this world would be your future. I fell silent. I looked at that ordinary self for a long time, then suddenly smiled. Night God asked, what are you smiling about? I answered, nothing. I just think that future wouldn't be bad either. The girl looked at me. You don't regret it? I shook my head. No, because there's no higher or lower in choices, just different lives. Just then, all the future scenes stopped at the same time. A voice appeared. Very good. You finally understand. In the center of the space, a figure slowly appeared. Exactly like me. But this time, it wasn't the future me. It was the me who never became a creator. Ordinary Lin Yi appeared. He looked at the current me and said calmly, then, now answer the final question. If you possess the power to create everything, would you still be willing to be that ordinary self? I fell silent. Because I knew this was the true question. Not power, not the future, but if none of this existed, whether I would still be myself. Echo of the future. Final question. If you lost all power, would you still be you? Ordinary Lin Yi stood in the void. He wore very ordinary clothes. No creator authority. No world course. No ability to change rules. He didn't even have a profession. Exactly like the me from 3 years ago, just before entering a dungeon. Rin clenched his fists. He looked at this, ordinary Lin Yi, and always felt something was off. What exactly are you trying to prove? Ordinary Lin Yi looked at him. I'm not trying to prove anything. I just want to know whether, if he lost everything, he'd still choose this path. Night God narrowed his eyes. He rarely observed a person seriously. But now, he was observing two Lin Yis. One possessed the power to change the universe, the other had nothing. But the two people's eyes were exactly the same. Interesting, Night God said. You too. There's actually no difference. Ordinary Lin Yi looked at him. Why? Night God smiled slightly. Because what truly defines a person has never been what he possesses. It's what he does when he has nothing. Rin glanced at Night God. A rare, decent thing to say. Night God rolled his eyes. I've always been reliable. You just couldn't understand before. The two of them started bickering again. I looked at them and couldn't help but smile. This feeling was very familiar. If I had no power, if I hadn't become a creator, I'd probably be just like them, living an ordinary and noisy life. Ordinary Lin Yi looked at me. You still haven't answered. I was silent for a moment, then said, I would. Ordinary Lin Yi frowned. So certain. I nodded. Because before I gained power, I was this kind of person. Facing danger, I'd be afraid, I'd hesitate, I'd think I couldn't do it. But if someone needed help, I'd still go. Ordinary Lin Yi was silent. Why? I looked into the distance. There lay countless shattered futures. Because that wasn't a choice power gave me. That was always my choice. Boom. The entire space shook. Detecting answer. Past. Ordinary Lin Yi's body began to turn transparent. He smiled. As expected, you haven't changed. The former me was just afraid of not being strong enough. The current you just gained the ability to protect others. In truth, you've always been you. After saying this, ordinary Lin Yi vanished. Hidden dungeon. First phase complete. But just as everyone thought it was over, the girl's expression suddenly changed. She'd been holding that old doll the whole time. At this moment, one of the doll's eyes suddenly lit up. Night God noticed first. Wait, what is that thing? The girl lowered her head, her expression showing panic for the first time. It's awake. I looked at the doll. Who? The girl didn't answer. The next second, the entire echo of the future space began to collapse. Countless future scenes shattered. A low voice came through. Interesting. The first person to pass the creator trial isn't the strongest, but the one most like an ordinary person. My expression was grave, because I'd never heard this voice before. But I could feel that the other party's tier even surpassed the first-generation creator. The girl looked at the sky, her face pale. It's coming. The thing all creators hid. Rin gripped his weapon. Another one? Why is it that every time the world is about to end, an even bigger trouble pops up? Night God looked at the sky, not joking for once. Because maybe we always thought the story had already ended. In reality, we'd just reached a chapter someone else had already written. Boom. The space completely shattered. A massive eye appeared behind all the future scenes. Unknown existence. Cannot detect. Cannot name. I looked up. For the first time, I felt a familiar feeling. Like someone was watching me. That existence spoke. Lin Yi, you passed the creator's test. So now, accept the true test. Prove why your future deserves to exist. Unknown existence. Appears. That massive eye hovered outside the echo of the future space. No body. No form. It simply watched. But everyone felt a pressure. Not a pressure of power, but a kind of feeling of being seen through. As if one's own past, one's own secrets, one's own every choice, had all already been seen by the other party. Rin was the first to step forward. He blocked in front of me. What are you looking at? Hiding in the back playing tricks. If you've got the guts, come down and fight. I glanced at him. Do you know it might be even stronger than the Lord of the Void? Rin gripped his spear. I know, but whether it's strong or not has nothing to do with whether I step forward. That was Ren. The former him believed only in power. Whoever was stronger had the right to speak. But after experiencing so much, he still loved fighting. It's just that now, every attack he threw carried the meaning of protection. Night God stood beside him and sighed softly. You guy, when will you learn not to be the first to charge in? Rin turned back. And you? Night God was silent. A few seconds later, I'm in charge of observing. Rin sneered. In plain terms, that's slacking off. Night God didn't refute. Because he was right. Night God had always been like this. On the surface, cynical, liking to watch the show. But at truly dangerous moments, he always stood in exactly the spot he should. That unknown existence looked at the three and suddenly said, interesting. Clearly possessing the power to change the universe, yet still retaining these low-tier emotions. I looked up. Low-tier? Friendship. Trust. Sacrifice. In your eyes, these are all low-tier. The eye had no emotion. Yes, because they affect judgment. They cause life to make wrong choices. I smiled. So you're just like those creators too, believing life should become perfect. The unknown existence was silent. Then, countless scenes appeared in the echo of the future space. In the scenes, I failed time and again, lost time and again, watched helplessly, time and again, as important people died. Rin died in battle. Night God vanished. The Myriad Races Alliance was destroyed. Blue Star became ruins. Do you see? This is the result of emotion. If you had no one you cared about, you wouldn't suffer. If you didn't choose to protect, you wouldn't lose. Abandon these, and only then can you become a true creator. The space went quiet. I looked at those scenes, with no anger, no denial. Because what he said was fact. With emotion, there'd be suffering. With attachments, there'd be fear of loss. But, you got one thing wrong, I said. The unknown existence asked, what? I looked at Run and Night God behind me. Suffering doesn't prove the choice was wrong. It proves those things are worth cherishing. Rin froze. He hadn't expected me to say something like this. Night God chuckled softly. You guy, more and more like a leader. I shook my head. I'm just stating fact. For the first time, the unknown existence showed a fluctuation. Why? Why does life always choose to suffer? I looked at it. Because life doesn't exist to avoid suffering. It exists to experience. If a world has no failure, no regret, no choice, then it's not heaven. It's just a cage. Boom. The entire space shook. Philosophical conflict. Final verification beginning. The unknown existence finally revealed its true form. Not a monster, not a deity, but a human figure. A person wearing white clothes. His face bore some resemblance to mine. I frowned. Who are you? The other party answered. I am observer number 0. Before the creator, I was already observing life. All dungeons, all professions, all trials. I designed them all. Ren's expression turned ugly. So, we've been inside your game this whole time? Observer number 0 nodded. That's right. All your experiences are experiments. Night God's eyes turned cold. Then what do you take life for? Observer number 0 answered. Samples. The air went silent in an instant. I looked at him and finally understood why this existence was more dangerous than the Lord of the Void. Because the Lord of the Void wanted to destroy life. But the existence before me didn't believe life truly existed at all. Observer number 0. Samples. As those two words fell, the entire echo of the future space fell silent. The handwrin gripped his spear with tightened bit by bit. His personality had always been very direct. Liked was liked, hated was hated. He could accept a powerful enemy, could accept failure, could even accept death. But he couldn't accept someone standing on high, treating everyone's lives as an experiment. So, Rin stared at observer number 0. Everything we experienced was arranged by you? Observer number 0 calmly nodded. Yes. The dungeons descending, professions awakening, worlds merging, including Lin Yi obtaining the SSS hidden profession. All of it was a test. Boom. The power on Ren's body erupted in an instant. A test? Do you know about those who died? Do you know about those who fought to protect others? They aren't data. Observer number 0 looked at him. To you, they're friends. To me, they're merely results. That one sentence made Ren utterly furious. He raised his spear and charged. The thing I hate most is people like you, standing on high, thinking you understand everything. The spear thrust out, carrying the new arrow warrior's strongest strike. But it stopped. 1 meter from observer number 0, it could advance no further. Not a defense, but the rules themselves. Observer number 0 said, Your attack, I've already calculated. It's meaningless. Rin gritted his teeth. Calculated? You think everything can be calculated? The next second, he gave up controlling his power and directly burned his own life energy. My expression changed. Run. Rin didn't look back, only smiled slightly. Don't stop me. In the past, you always protected us. This time, let me go one step ahead. Boom. His power rose once more. For the first time, observer number 0 frowned. Why? Knowing you'll fail, why continue? Rin answered, Because I promised. I'd stand by your side. When you promise someone something, you have to do it. Bang. The attack landed, but it was still blocked. Rin was sent flying backward. I caught him. You're always like this, I said helplessly. Clearly knowing you can't win, yet you charge anyway. Rin wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and smiled. Force of habit. Weren't you like this in the past too? I froze, then smiled. Indeed, they were very alike. On the other side, Night God had never made a move. Observer number 0 looked at him. Why don't you attack? Night God leaned against the shattered space, still with that lazy look. Because I can't win. Rin glared at him. At least you're honest. Night God shrugged. Can't help it. I'm in charge of using my brain. Knowing that fists can't solve it, yet going up to get beaten. That's called stupidity. Observer number 0 said, You believe wisdom can change the result? Night God smiled. It can't. But wisdom can find the thing you didn't calculate. Observer number 0 was silent. Night God looked at me. Did you notice? He keeps talking about calculation. But there's one thing he can't calculate. I asked what? Night God answered, Choice. If everything could be calculated, he'd have long known you'd reach where you are today. Observer number 0's eyes changed. For the first time, his expression showed a change. You believe choice can transcend the rules. I stepped forward. Not transcend. The rules came from choice to begin with. You created dungeons, created trials, wanting to observe why life changes. But you made the biggest mistake. Observer number 0 asked, What mistake? I looked at him. You stand on the outside and observe. So you'll never understand why life makes those choices. Silence. Observer number 0 looked at me, and after a long while, he said, What do you want to prove? I raised my head. I want to prove that we aren't your experiment. Our lives belong to us. Ding. Creator will detect it. Final challenge unlocked. Challenge objective. Defeat observer number 0. But the next second, the system displayed another prompt. Warning. Creator authority cannot be used. I froze. Observer number 0 said lightly, Forgotten? This dungeon was created by me. Here, you're not a creator. You're just a player. Warning. Creator authority closed. In an instant, I felt that familiar power inside my body vanish. The 7 world cores stopped operating. The ability to modify rules, gone. The power to create worlds, gone. Even the system that had accompanied me all this way fell silent. Detecting insufficient authority, I stood where I was. For the first time, I felt the same as I had 3 years ago. Ordinary, weak, without anything special. Observer number 0 looked at me. Now, do you understand? Without power, you're nothing. The surrounding future scenes kept changing, showing enemy after enemy from the past. Beasts, alien races, the Void Legion, the Observer Fleet. Without power, I couldn't possibly have reached today. What you relied on was never yourself. Observer number 0 said. Professions, the system, course, all of it was external. Now, prove it to me. Without these, what do you have left? Silence. Rin wanted to charge over, but he found that his power had been restricted too. Damn it. Rin slammed a fist into the ground. This guy, Night God pulled him back. Don't rush, Rin said angrily. Don't you see Lin Yi? Night God shook his head. I see it. But right now, the most important thing isn't helping him. It's trusting him. Rin froze. For the first time, he didn't refute. Because Night God was right. All along the way, I'd experienced moments more hopeless than now. The first time entering a dungeon, everyone thought I was just an ordinary player. Facing the observers, everyone thought I'd surely lose. Facing the Void civilization, everyone thought the universe had no hope. But every time, I found my own answer. I looked at my own 2 hands, silent for a long while. Then I smiled. Observer number 0 frowned. Why can you still smile? I looked up. Because you made a mistake. What? I said. You think power created the current me. But actually, it was the past me who, step by step, obtained this power. The order is reversed. Observer number 0 was silent. I continued. If a person is only willing to protect others once they have power, then they were merely changed by power. But if a person, without power, still chooses to help others, that is the true self. Boom. The echo of the future space shook. For the first time, observer number 0 showed an expression of incomprehension. Without power, on what basis do you protect? I didn't answer, because at that moment, footsteps came from the distance. An ordinary person walked over. No equipment, no profession, just a young man. He saw me and smiled. Do you remember? I froze. This person, I knew him. It was 3 years ago, when the first dungeon descended, the ordinary player chased by monsters. Back then, I was fighting for the first time too. Choosing for the first time too. The young man said, back then, everyone ran. Only you came back to save me. But the you of that time wasn't very strong either. I fell silent. Yes, the me of that time had no creator power, no SSS profession. I just felt, I can't watch someone else die. Another person appeared. Then, more people appeared. People I had once helped. People whose fates had once changed because of me. They had no power, but they stood by my side. Ren looked at this scene and suddenly smiled. See that? This is the thing you couldn't calculate. Night God nodded. Cause and effect isn't data. Observer number 0 looked at the ever-growing crowd of people and, for the first time, was silent. He'd calculated countless futures, calculated power, calculated civilizations, calculated wars. But he'd never once calculated that an ordinary person's kindness could leave behind so many traces. I looked at him. Now, do you know? Observer number 0 asked. Know what? I said, the value of life isn't because they're powerful. It's because they influence one another. Ding. Hidden condition detected. Final trial completed in an ordinary state. Passed. Observer number 0 looked at the system prompt and, for a long while, said nothing. Then, for the first time, he lowered his head. So, I observed for so long, yet never truly saw life. The next second, the power that had vanished from within me began to reappear. But this time, it wasn't because of authority. It was because I no longer needed to prove who I was. Detecting hidden condition. Final trial passed. Creator authority, reconnecting. The vanished power didn't immediately return to my body. The 7 world cores simply drifted quietly behind me. No rumbling, no dazzling light. Just like 7 ordinary stars. But I knew they were different now. In the past, I mastered the world cores because I was strong enough. Now, for the first time, I understood that power was only a tool. What truly decided where power went was people. Snap. A soft sound. Observer number 0 raised his hand. The future scenes around us suddenly stopped. For the first time, his expression was no longer cold. It even carried a hint of weariness. You win. Rin froze. That's it. You're giving up already. He'd been holding in a belly full of anger just now. Now, hearing his opponent concede, he actually wasn't used to it. Observer number 0 glanced at him. You seem disappointed? Ren pursed his lips. Of course. I had my spear already. Night God laughed beside him. You couldn't even beat him just now, and now you're all fired up. Ren glared at him. Then why don't you go up? Night God spread his hands. I cherish my life. That's a virtue. Bullshit. The two of them started arguing again. I looked at them and didn't stop them. Instead, I felt at ease. Because this was who they were. Ren's temper was blunt. Night God's mouth was sharp. One liked to solve problems with his fists. The other liked to think a problem through first. They seemed completely different, yet they complemented each other perfectly. Observer number 0 watched this scene, his eyes somewhat complicated. You, why can you still laugh? Night God turned his head. Because we're alive. Why can't we laugh when we're alive? Observer number 0 was stunned. That answer was simple to the point of being laughable, but he couldn't answer it. Tell me, I said, why did you create the dungeons? Observer number 0 didn't answer. He merely raised his hand. A sealed-away memory slowly appeared before everyone. Long ago, the universe had no dungeons, no professions, not even so-called creators. Back then, there were only countless ordinary civilizations in the universe. One of them was called humanity. The observer number 0 in the scene was still just a young man. No godlike power, no lofty status. He wore a lab coat, spending every day buried in the laboratory. There was always a half-drunk cup of coffee on his desk. The stacks of documents were taller than a person. The young him actually loved to laugh. His colleagues often scolded him. What are you studying the universe for? Clean up your own desk first. The young observer didn't even look up. Once I solve the origin of the universe, I'll clean up. His colleague rolled their eyes. You'll never clean up in this lifetime. The him of that time was a completely different person from now. He'd joke, he'd make mistakes, he'd stay up all night over a failed experiment, and he'd be happy all day over a word of encouragement from a friend. Until one day, an accident occurred in the laboratory. The young observer stood before a massive experimental apparatus, the instruments alarming frantically. Warning, unknown spatial structure undergoing collapse. Everyone was panicking. Only he stood there, watching that slowly opening space. Inside, a completely different world appeared. A true dungeon world. No one created it, no one designed it. It simply existed. And moreover, there was life inside. The first time the young observer saw that world, his eyes were full of shock. Life can actually be born outside the rules. He researched, recorded, and observed frantically. At first, his purpose was simple. He wanted to know why life was born. So, the first dungeon was established. The first profession system was designed. The first batch of players was chosen. Everyone thought it was a game. Only he knew it was an experiment. At first, the experiment proceeded very smoothly. Players leveled up, gained abilities, built civilizations, cooperated with one another, even created civilizations far surpassing reality. The young observer laughed every day. He'd be happy because some player completed a difficult quest, and he'd be excited because a civilization walked off its own planet for the first time. He truly loved those lives. Until the first civilization was destroyed. In the scene, a planet burned. Countless lives fled. In the end, all of them vanished. The young observer stood before the screen and said nothing all night. The next day, he began to modify the dungeon rules. He wanted to save them. But the second time, another civilization was destroyed. The third time, the fourth time, each more brutal than the last. The young observer began to fall silent. He no longer laughed. The coffee on his desk went from hot to cold, and he didn't care. Finally, one day, he said a single sentence to the empty laboratory. If I could control everything, they wouldn't die. This sentence became the beginning of all tragedy. He began to add restrictions. Controlling the dungeons. Controlling the professions. Controlling the speed of civilization's growth. Even controlling which paths players could take. Fewer and fewer people died. But the living increasingly resembled a group of puppets pulled by strings. Until, in the end, a civilization's leader found him. That person asked, "Why do you decide for us?" The young observer answered, "Because I don't want to see you die again." But the other party shook their head. "But that's our choice. Even if we fail in the end, it's our failure." The young observer didn't answer. That day, for the first time, he realized he might be becoming the very kind of person he'd once hated. But it was too late. He couldn't stop. Because the moment he let go, life would die. So he grew stronger and colder. In the end, he became observer number 0. The memory ended. In the space, no one spoke. Even the ever-stubborn Ren fell silent. He lowered his head, looking at his spear, and after a long while, said, "So, you didn't want to harm us from the start." Observer number 0 shook his head. "I was just afraid." Afraid of seeing death again. Rin raised his head. Being afraid of death is nothing shameful. But you can't live for everyone just because you're afraid. Observer number 0 looked at him, and after a long while, gently nodded. You're right. But Night God didn't comfort him like Rin did. He stared at observer number 0. I have a question. Since you already knew you were wrong, why did you continue? Observer number 0 fell silent. Because I wanted to find a person who could prove that life can walk out its own answer. His gaze fell upon me. So that's why you gave him the SSS hidden profession? Night God asked. Observer number 0 shook his head. It wasn't me. Everyone froze. Then who? Observer number 0 raised his head, looking at the 7 world cores behind me. I don't know. From the moment Lin Yi first entered a dungeon, the system had already broken free of my control. My pupils contracted slightly. What did you say? For the first time, observer number 0 revealed genuine astonishment. That SSS grade hidden profession. I didn't give it to you. It chose you on its own. As those words fell, the entire space suddenly trembled. Ding. Highest grade hidden authority detected. True system core. Awakening. The 7 world cores behind me lit up simultaneously. Observer number 0's expression changed abruptly. Impossible. How could it awaken now? I looked toward the void. For the first time, even I felt uneasy. Because I suddenly realized that from the beginning of the story until now, everyone thought the system was the rules, the dungeons were the rules, the professions were the rules. But if even observer number 0 wasn't the system's true master, then who exactly was the existence that truly chose me? True system core. Awakening. The 7 world cores lit up simultaneously. No earth-shattering explosion. No sky full of strange phenomena. Just a very soft breath, sounding beside my ear. Huh. Like someone who had slept for a very long time, finally opening their eyes. My expression slowly changed. Because this voice, I knew it too well. 3 years ago, the first time I entered a dungeon, the first time I awakened a profession, the first time I received a reward, this voice had always been with me. But in the past, it only ever issued quests mechanically, never truly expressing its own emotions. And now, it was breathing. Rin gripped his spear. Lin Yi, did you hear that? Like someone panting. Rin grinned. This system's pretty particular. After sleeping so long, the first thing it does upon waking is pant. Night God glanced at him. Can you be a little more serious? This thing is clearly not right. Rin pursed his lips. I know, but I can't just stand here trembling because it's not right, can I? Night God said nothing more. He looked at me. What do you feel? I was silent for a moment. It's looking at me. The moment these words came out, everyone fell silent. Because this time, it wasn't them observing the system. It was the system observing them. Ding. Host detected. Confirmed. Lin Yi. Welcome back. I froze. Back. This was the first time the system used such phrasing. Not congratulations, player. Not quest complete. But, welcome back. I've been here before. I asked. The system didn't answer immediately. After a few seconds, a voice sounded again. It's not that you came here. It's that you once belonged here. I frowned. What do you mean? Your first life was not born on Blue Star. Boom. My pupils contracted sharply. Rin was completely dumbfounded. Wait. What do you mean, not born on Blue Star? Night God said nothing, but his expression sank completely for the first time. Keep listening. Observer number 0 stared at me, a trace of hard-to-conceal shock appearing in his eyes. So that's how it is, no wonder. I turned my head. What do you know? Observer number 0 didn't answer, instead looking at the 7 world cores. I once thought that civilization had completely vanished. I never imagined. It left behind the last ember. Rin couldn't hold back. Can you two stop talking in riddles? If you've got something to say it all at once. Observer number 0 glanced at him. You're still the same as before. Rin froze. What before? But observer number 0 didn't continue explaining. I stared at him fixedly. My past, what exactly is it? The system suddenly sounded. Warning. The relevant memories belong to the highest authority. Unlock. I didn't hesitate. Unlock. Confirmed. Boom. The next second, darkness appeared before my eyes. A child appeared in the darkness. No parents. No name. No body. Only a consciousness. The first time he opened his eyes, what he saw was not a blue sky, but a sea of stars. Countless civilizations were twinkling in the universe. That child simply watched. Later, someone gave him a name. 0. Not observer number 0, but the very first life. The scene continued. That child began to learn. Learning language. Learning civilization. Learning emotion. He'd be happy at tasting sweets for the first time. He'd be sad when a companion left. He'd secretly rejoice for a long time over saving an injured little beast. That was a true life. Until one day, a cosmic catastrophe descended. His civilization was about to be destroyed. That child stood in the ruins and, for the first time, asked a question. Why must life always die? No one answered. So, he began to seek the answer. Later, he created the system, created the dungeons, created the professions, created the observers. Everything, all of it, was for one simplest question. Is there a way for life to escape its predetermined ending? The scene ended. I opened my eyes, my face full of shock. That child, observer number 0 said in a low voice, is me. Rin froze. You? Aren't you observer number 0? That was only later. The true me was once merely a child afraid of death. Night God suddenly asked, then what about Lin Yi? Observer number 0 didn't answer. The system answered for him. Lin Yi, not an experiment subject, not a player, nor a creator. Lin Yi is the answer. The space fell completely silent. I looked at the prompt before me. The answer: 37.26 million experiments. 37.26 million failures. All civilizations ultimately walked toward the same result. Dependence on power. Dependence on rules. Dependence on the creator. Only you, after gaining the ability to change everything, still chose to return the right of choice to life. So you are not the result of the experiment. You are the reason the experiment ended. After Ren heard this, he said nothing for a long while. Finally, he squeezed out a sentence. You went around such a huge circle, and in the end you're just here to prove that people can make their own choices? Night God glanced at him. Though you put it pretty stupidly. That's basically the idea. Ren snorted. I put it plainly. What the hell do you understand? But I didn't laugh. I stared at the system. There's one more question. Ask. Why me? The system was silent. For a long time. Then it answered. Because you once gave up a chance to become a god. I froze. When? Before you had even become Lin Yi. Boom. The entire space suddenly shook violently. Observer number 0's expression changed drastically. Stop. You can't continue reading now. I looked at him. Why? For the first time, observer number 0 revealed fear. Because if you go any further, you'll remember your true identity. The 7 world cores lit up simultaneously. Final memory. About to unlock. And at this very moment, a small figure slowly walked out from behind me. It was precisely the little girl who had always been holding that worn-out doll. She looked at me, her eyes complicated. Big brother. I turned back. What is it? The girl bit her lip, seeming to hesitate for a long while, then finally said, Do you still remember me? I froze. We've met before. The girl nodded. We have. A very long time ago. It was you who brought me out of that world. My pupils contracted sharply. The old doll in the girl's arms suddenly opened its eyes, revealing a single blood-red eye. Warning. Anomalous life form detected. System authority under intrusion. Observer number 0 suddenly turned around. So it's finally come after all. The smile on Night God's face vanished. Ren immediately raised his spear. But the girl suddenly cried. She hugged the doll tightly and looked at me. Big brother, don't let it take you away. I looked at that red eye, and for the first time, an inexplicable sense of familiarity arose in my heart. As if, a very, very long time ago, I had once seen it. And at that time, it did not yet have eyes. Big brother, don't let it take you away. The girl held the doll, her small body trembling ceaselessly. But even though she was clearly afraid, she didn't retreat. I looked at her. What's your name? The girl was silent. After a few seconds, she said softly, 07. That's the number they gave me. Rin frowned. A number? He hated this kind of designation most. In his view, a living person should have a name, not a string of cold numbers. Who named you that? The girl didn't answer, only lowered her head to look at the doll in her arms. Night God crouched down, the smile gone from his face. He rarely took a child seriously. But this girl was different. The way she looked at people wasn't like a child's. It was more like a soul that had lived for a very long time, yet had never grown up. Night God extended his hand. 07. If you don't like this name, you can change it. The girl looked up. Can I? Of course. Night God thought for a moment. You choose it yourself. The girl thought seriously for a long while, then finally said, Then, Chi-Chi. The corner of Ren's mouth twitched. How is that any different from 07? Night God glanced at him. At least it's not a number. There's a difference. Ren wanted to refute, thought about it, and actually found it made sense. Fine. I looked at Chi-Chi. You said you'd met me before. When exactly was that? Chi-Chi didn't answer. She only slowly extended her hand, pointing at my chest. Here. You used to have a heart. I frowned. What do you mean? Chi-Chi shook her head. Not your current heart. It's your first heart. Boom. Deep in my mind, a scene suddenly flashed. Darkness. Endless darkness. A child stood there. There was no heart in his chest, only a mass of silver-white light. And before him stood a little girl. It was precisely Chi-Chi. Linyi, do you really want to do this? The young me nodded. If I don't, everyone will die. But you'll forget us. Then let me forget. As long as they can survive. The scene stopped abruptly here. I abruptly opened my eyes, my forehead already covered in cold sweat. Rin immediately steadied me. What's wrong? I didn't answer. I stared at Chi-Chi. I remembered a little. Chi-Chi's eyes instantly turned red. You finally remembered. But observer number zero's expression turned ugly. He can't be allowed to continue remembering. Rin turned his head. Why? Scared. Observer number zero ignored the provocation. He looked at me. You have no idea what you did back then. I asked, then tell me. Why did I lose my memory? Observer number zero was silent. Finally, he spoke slowly. Because you deleted your own memory with your own hands. Rin froze. Deleted it himself? Yes. Night God narrowed his eyes. For what? To deceive one person. I asked who. Observer number zero raised his head, looking at the sky. Me. Silence. Back then, you discovered I was gradually losing control. You wanted to stop me. But you knew that with your power alone, you couldn't win. So you did one thing. You sealed your power, your memories, even a part of your soul, entirely into the system. I looked at him. And then you voluntarily entered the cycle of reincarnation, becoming an ordinary person, waiting for the system to find you again. Rin couldn't help but ask, so Lin Yi was once even stronger than you? Observer number zero didn't answer. But Night God suddenly laughed. I understand now. No wonder. From the very first dungeon, his growth rate was abnormal. Rin rubbed his chin. I thought it was talent. Night God rolled his eyes at him. You think everyone's like you, leveling up by getting beaten? Say that again. Even if I say it 10 times, it's still a fact. The two of them nearly started arguing again. But I didn't pay attention to them. My gaze remained fixed on Chi-Chi. And you? What's your identity? Chi-Chi lowered her head, and after a long while, said, I'm the last wish you left behind. I froze. Chi-Chi raised her head, tears sliding down her cheeks. You told me back then, if one day you forgot everything, I should find you. And then tell you. You didn't walk to today in order to become the strongest. You just wanted those people to be able to survive. I said nothing. I suddenly remembered many things. The excitement of gaining power for the first time. The fear of killing a monster for the first time. The anger of seeing a companion die for the first time. And every time I clearly could have left alone, yet chose to turn back. So it turned out that wasn't something the system taught me. It had always been me. Just then, the doll in Chi-Chi's arms suddenly moved. Creak. A piercing sound rang out. The red eye stared fixedly at me. Unknown authority detected. Seizing system control. Chi-Chi's face instantly went pale. No. She clutched the doll tighter. You can't touch Big Brother. The doll suddenly let out a laugh. Big Brother? How laughable. Do you think he's really your big brother? Chi-Chi's body stiffened. I narrowed my eyes. What are you trying to say? The doll stared at me. Lin Yi, do you really think you're a single person? Boom. The entire echo of the future space instantly fell into darkness. A new system prompt slowly surfaced. Highest authority memory unlocked. Lin Yi's true identity unknown. Life type unknown. Origin world unknown. Warning. This existence does not belong to the current universe's life lineage. The expression on Ren's face completely froze. This. Night God stared at those words, not joking for the first time. Observer number zero even took a step back. As expected, I should have thought of it. I looked at him. Do you know what I am? Observer number zero shook his head. No, I only know one thing. Back when you came to this universe, the rules of the entire universe parted to open a path for you. As those words fell, the 7 world cores behind me suddenly all went dark. Following that, a brand new coordinate appeared on the system interface. Unknown world. Coordinate. Outside the universe. Entrance opening countdown. 10. 9. I looked up. Outside the universe. Night God gripped his weapon. It seems the true gate is finally about to open. But Rin grinned. Whether it's inside the universe or outside. Since it's blocking the way, we just fight through it. Night God looked at him. That brain of yours is actually pretty useful sometimes. Because you don't want to complicate things at all. Rin glared at him. Cut the passive-aggressive crap. I looked at the two of them and smiled. Then I looked up at that gate about to open. Let's go. This time, I want to see for myself who exactly I am. 3, 2, 1. Unknown world entrance. Opening. The pitch-black gate slowly opened. Behind the gate, there were no monsters, no armies, no world-destroying power. Only a city. A city, exactly like Blue Star. Streets. Skyscrapers. Shops. Street lamps. Even the crowds were the same. I stood at the gate, the smile on my face slowly vanishing. Because I saw a person, standing at the end of the street. That person looked exactly like me. And he was waving at me. You've finally come. I've waited a long time for you. You've finally come. At the end of the street, another me stood there. Black coat. Both hands in his pockets. A faint smile on his face. He looked no different from me at all. Even his standing posture was the same. Rin stared at him, the spear in his hand not lowered. This guy. How does he look even more like Lin Yi than Lin Yi? Night God didn't answer. His eyes remained fixed on the other me. Not like. He is. Rin frowned. What do you mean? Night God said slowly. His habits. His breathing. His eyes. Even the first glance he gave us just now. All of it is Lin Yi. Rin's expression turned ugly. Then which one is the real one? Both are real. A voice came from the side. Chi-Chi, holding her doll, stood behind me. Big brother. He's you too. I looked at the other self. Who are you? The other me smiled. You can call me Zero. Observer number Zero's expression changed abruptly. Zero? How could you still exist? The other me looked at him. Why can't I? Didn't you kill me with your own hands back then? The air froze in an instant. Rin abruptly looked at observer number 0. You killed him. Observer number 0 didn't answer. His expression, for the first time, turned very ugly. But Night God suddenly spoke. It seems things are even more complicated than we imagined. The other me smiled. Night God, you're still so clever. Night God raised an eyebrow. You know me? Of course. I know all of you. I've even known you longer than the current Lin Yi has. Rin gripped his spear. Cut the nonsense. What exactly do you want to do? The other me looked at him. It's simple. Let him die. Ren's eyes turned cold in an instant, and he took a step forward. Say that again. The other me still smiled. Let him die. And then, I return to your world. Why? I asked. The other me didn't answer immediately. He walked to the roadside, picked up a bottle of drink, unscrewed it, and took a sip. Because in my world, there's no one left. I fell silent. What do you mean? The other me looked all around. Here was once Blue Star too. Cities too. There were schools, parents, friends. But in the end, all of them died. Rin said nothing. He disliked hearing this kind of story most. Because he knew those weren't stories. They were things a real person had experienced. The other me continued. I tried to stop it. Failed. I tried to destroy the dungeons. Failed. I tried to kill the observer. Failed. In the end, I could only watch everyone die. He smiled slightly. So, I want to borrow your world to live on. I looked at him. You want to replace me? Yes. And if I refuse? The smile on the other me's face vanished. Then I'll just have to kill you. Rin finally couldn't hold back. Screw you, I raised my hand. Run. Rin stopped. Let me talk with him. But, it's fine. I patted his shoulder. He's not an enemy. Rin frowned. He just said he wants to kill you. I shook my head. Precisely because of that, I want to hear why. Rin was silent, and finally stepped aside. Fine. If you can't beat him, I'll step in again. Night God smiled. You've actually gotten smarter this time. Knowing to let Lin Yi handle it himself first. Rin rolled his eyes at him. I just trust him. At the center of the street, the two of me faced each other. Do you know? The other me suddenly said. The biggest difference between us isn't power, it's experience. You have them. I don't. So you can stand here, pretending you can let go of everything. I didn't refute. Because he was right. The other me continued. I once believed in choice too. Believed in companions. Believed that as long as you persisted, you'd surely find the answer. Later I discovered these things only suit people who haven't yet lost everything. I asked, so what do you want now? A chance. To start over. Even if it means stealing my life? Yes. I fell silent. After a long while, I asked, if I gave you my life, how do you plan to live? The other me froze. He clearly hadn't expected me to ask this. Of course, protect them. And then, let them survive. And after that, the other me was silent. I stared at him. Have you ever thought that what you truly want might not be my life? But rather, one time, for someone to be willing to tell you, you already did your best back then, right? The other me's body trembled slightly, and he said nothing for a long while. He lowered his head, and for the first time, didn't smile. Shut up. I didn't stop. You don't want to become me. You just want to return to the self who hadn't yet lost everything. Isn't that right? The other me raised his head, his eyes already red. Shut up. Boom. Terrifying power suddenly erupted. The entire city began to shake. Rin immediately raised his spear. Here it comes. But Night God pressed a hand on his shoulder. Don't move yet. Why? Look at Lin Yi. I didn't retreat, didn't even draw a weapon. I only looked at the other self. I won't treat you as an enemy. But I also won't hand my life over to you. If you really want to live, then go create it yourself. The other me gritted his teeth. I've already failed once. Then do it again. I have no more chances. Then I'll give you one. These words left the other me utterly stunned. You? I raised my hand. The 7 world cores slowly appeared. I can share my power with you. Everyone froze. Observer number 0 even spoke up directly. No. I turned my head. Why? Observer number 0's expression turned ugly. You don't know what he is. He's not another you. He's. Before observer number 0 could finish, the entire world suddenly shook violently. The sky split open. Countless black cracks spread. A cold voice came from the deepest part of the world. 2 core hosts detected. Current world cannot contain them. Beginning execution of the purge program. Chi-Chi's face instantly went deathly pale. This is bad. It's not Big Brother. Nor him. The one that truly wants to kill us. She looked up at the sky. Is this world? Boom. The entire city began to collapse. And the 2 of me simultaneously raised our heads. For the first time, we truly stood together. The other me wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. It seems, to survive, we first have to punch through this world. I smiled. This time, the 2 of us together. Boom. The sky split open completely. Black crack after black crack spread from above the city in all directions, like a spider's web. Skyscrapers began to collapse. The streets shattered piece by piece. Cars floated up, then, all turned to ash. Purge program initiated. Purge target, all life. The cold system voice echoed throughout the entire city. Rin looked up. What the hell is this? A system killing even its own people. Night God's expression was grim. It's not a system. At least, not the system we know. Rin turned his head. What did you figure out now? Night God didn't answer. He crouched down, grabbed a piece of the shattered ground, and observed it for 2 seconds. This world is being deleted. Not destroyed. Deleted. Rin frowned. What's the difference? Night God tossed the fragment away. After destruction, there are still remains. Deletion leaves nothing behind. Rin's expression changed. Then we will vanish too? Yes. Rin was silent. The next second, he suddenly smiled. Then let's shatter it before it deletes us. Night God looked at him. Besides fighting, can you think of anything else? Rin grinned. Yeah, fighting harder. Night God was speechless. Never mind. I shouldn't have asked. While the 2 were talking, I and the other Lin Yi already stood at the center of the city. 2 people, one on the left, one on the right. Without any communication, yet we simultaneously raised our heads. Here it comes. The next second, from within the sky's cracks, a massive black arm extended out. No flesh, no bones, only densely packed rule runes. It grabbed at the entire city. Retreat. I shouted. Rin was the first to charge out. Retreat, my ass. It's right in our faces. The spear swept horizontally. Boom. The black arm was knocked back several hundred meters. Rin landed, the ground beneath his feet cracking open directly. He shook his numb arm. Not bad. Fightable. Night God shouted from behind. You nearly shattered your own arm just now. I know. Then how can you still say it's fightable? Fightable doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. Night God. On the other side, the other Lin Yi suddenly charged out. His speed was astonishing, his figure passing directly through the black arm. Boom. A blood-red light exploded from within the arm. A crack appeared in the black arm. I glanced over. You take the burst route. The other Lin Yi nodded. My profession is called Walker of the End. SSS grade profession. Walker of the End. I smiled. Suits you well. The other Lin Yi looked at me. And yours? I didn't answer. The 7 world cores emerged. SSS grade hidden profession. True creator. The other Lin Yi's eyes were complicated. As expected, you walk the path of creation, I walk the path of destruction. One responsible for creating, one for ending. The 2 of us were originally one. As those words fell, both of our professions erupted simultaneously. Homologous professions detected. Profession fusion conditions met. Fuse. I didn't hesitate. Fuse. The other Lin Yi spoke the same. Fuse. Boom. 2 completely different powers began to intertwine. Creation and destruction. One continuously constructing, one continuously ending. Astonishingly, they formed a perfect cycle. Profession fusion. Creation end. Temporary fusion profession. SSS grade, Genesis end. At this moment, observer number 0's expression changed completely. Impossible. 2 opposite professions. How could they fuse? But Chi-Chi said softly. Because they were one person to begin with. Observer number 0 was silent. This sentence he couldn't refute. Here it comes. I shouted loudly. The black arm descended again. This time, the two of us struck simultaneously. I raised my hand, and a massive world barrier appeared, blocking the attack. The other Lin Yi charged directly into the interior of the black arm. Break for me. Boom. The blood-colored power erupted frantically. I continuously repaired the barrier. The other Lin Yi continuously destroyed the rules. One creating, one destroying, the two coordinating without any pause whatsoever. Rin watched with boiling blood. Beautiful. This is what fighting's about. But Night God frowned. Something's wrong. Rin froze. What's wrong? Too smooth. They fused too fast. Rin was stunned. Night God looked at the two Lin Yes. If they really are the same person, why could they coordinate to this degree on their very first time? Rin frowned. You mean? Night God looked up. Someone is controlling them. Just then, the other Lin Yi suddenly stopped. His pupils had turned pure black. My expression changed abruptly. 0. The other Lin Yi didn't answer. He slowly turned his head, a strange smile appearing on his face. Finally, I've waited for this. My heart sank. You're not 0. The other party smiled. Of course not. The true 0 died long ago. Boom. A terrifying power erupted from within the other Lin Ye's body. Chi-Chi's face went deathly pale. It's it. The one who killed Big Brother. I abruptly turned back. Who? Chi-Chi pointed at the other Lin Yi, her voice trembling. The first life from outside the universe. Also the true creator of all dungeons. The entire world suddenly fell silent. And the existence that had seized the other Lin Ye's body slowly raised its head. Lin Yi, long time no see. This time, you have nowhere to flee. Long time no see. The voice came from the other Lin Ye's mouth. But it was no longer 0's voice. Deep, cold, without a shred of emotion. I stared at those pitch-black eyes. Who are you? The other party smiled. You should call me the Matrix. Boom. The black cracks in the sky all stopped. The entire world seemed, in this moment, to lose all sound. The wind stopped. The debris stopped in midair. Even the spear Rin had just raised stopped. Only I could still move. My pupils contracted slightly. Time. No. The Matrix shook its head. Authority. This world was my body to begin with. Your so-called rules are merely my nerves. Your so-called dungeons are just dreams I casually made. Rin gritted his teeth. He desperately tried to move, but his body was as if bound by invisible chains. Lin Yi, don't worry about us. Hit him first. I turned back. You can't even move your hand. Rin grinned. My hand can't move, but my mouth can still talk. So I'll just curse him to death. Night God couldn't help but laugh. Fine. Put your specialty to use. Rin glared at him. You shut up. I'm cheering Lin Yi on. What you're doing is called causing trouble. Clearly caught in a crisis, yet the two could still bicker. I looked at them, and instead felt a bit more settled in my heart. But the Matrix frowned. Boring. Life always likes to use these low-tier emotions to conceal its own fear. Chi-Chi suddenly shouted, You shut up. This was the first time she truly raged at the Matrix. She held her doll, her body trembling slightly. But she still stepped out, step by step. You killed them, and you still want to kill Big Brother. I won't be afraid of you anymore. The Matrix looked at her. Experiment subject number 7. You still love meddling so much. Chi-Chi's face went pale. I'm Chi-Chi, not an experiment subject. The Matrix smiled. Names are merely lies life makes up for itself. All of you are just numbers. Chi-Chi gritted her teeth, tears already swirling in her eyes. But she didn't cry. Then I'll decide for myself. What I'm called. Who I am. What I should do. For the first time, the Matrix was silent. I looked at Chi-Chi and smiled softly. Well said. The Matrix's gaze returned to me. You're still like this, liking to encourage others. Yet you don't know that you're the most pitiful one. You think you escaped the experiment? You didn't. You merely went from one experiment into another. I frowned. What do you mean? The Matrix raised its hand. A scene appeared in the void. Blue star. The dungeons descending. My awakening. Gaining the SSS grade hidden profession for the first time. Entering a dungeon for the first time. Growing time and again. All the important nodes were marked. Observe. Record. Adjust. My expression grew increasingly ugly. You've been controlling my growth the whole time? The Matrix shook its head. Not controlling. Guiding. Every choice you thought you made yourself actually had a path I'd left behind. I fell silent. So the first time I saved Rin, that was arranged by you too? Yes. The first time I met Night God? Yes. Chi-Chi finding me? That too. My eyes turned cold, bit by bit. Then my reaching here today, is that also in your plan? The Matrix smiled. Of course, including your current anger. Bang. I slammed a fist into the void. The 7 world cores erupted in an instant. Creator authority. Fully unlocked. Boom. Time recovered. Space recovered. Rin could finally move. The first thing he did wasn't to attack, but to charge directly in front of Chi-Chi, shielding her behind him. You stand behind me. Chi-Chi froze. But, cut the chatter. I'm taller than you. I can block it. Chi-Chi's nose stung. Oh. Rin raised his spear. Lin Yi, don't worry. This time, we're together. Night God walked over too. He didn't take out a weapon, only stared at the Matrix. I've discovered one thing. The Matrix looked at him. Speak. Night God smiled. You've said so much, actually you're stalling for time. The Matrix's smile vanished. Night God continued. You could indeed kill us directly, but you didn't. You've been explaining the whole time. What? I also caught on. Right. If the Matrix truly possessed absolute power, there'd be no need for all this talk. The Matrix was silent. Night God's eyes grew brighter and brighter. Because you have limits too, don't you? The Matrix didn't answer. You can't kill Lin Yi directly. Otherwise, you'd die too. Boom. The aura on the Matrix's body fluctuated for the first time. Rin was stunned. He actually hit the mark? The corner of Night God's mouth curved up. When have I ever been wrong? Rin rolled his eyes. You said I couldn't win just now. I still remember that. That was a fact. Get lost. But I didn't laugh. I stared at the Matrix. You need me. The Matrix slowly nodded. Yes, I need you. Why? Because. The Matrix looked at me. You are the only one who can bear my life core. My expression sank. So you cultivating me all this time wasn't to kill me. It was to. The Matrix revealed a smile. Take your body. Boom. The next second, the other Lin Yi's body suddenly began to fracture. Black patterns spread from his neck all the way to his face. The true Zero seemed to be devoured bit by bit. I raised my hand. Zero. The other party raised his head, his eyes finally recovering a trace of clarity. Lin Yi, kill me. Hurry. My expression changed abruptly. What did you say? Zero gritted his teeth. It's devouring me. Any later, and I won't be able to come back. The Matrix's voice came from within his body again. Kill him, and you'll lose the last self. I clenched my fists. Before me, 2 choices appeared. Choice 1, kill Zero. Obtain the end core. Choice 2, save Zero. Give up the end core. I looked at the 2 choices, and suddenly, I smiled. Choices again. You all really love making me choose. The Matrix asked, what do you choose? I raised my head. I don't choose. I don't choose. I stood where I was, looking at the 2 choices before me, neither reaching out nor hesitating. Warning. Host refuses system choice. Please choose again. Not interested. Please complete your choice within 3 seconds. 3. I suddenly smiled. You really do take yourself seriously. 2. I raised my hand, the 7 world cores rotating simultaneously. 1. Boom. The system interface was shattered directly by a single punch. Warning. System choice damaged. The voice cut off abruptly. Rin was dumbfounded. You can do that. But Night God wasn't the least bit surprised. He's been putting up with this system for a long time. Rin turned his head. How do you know? Because every time Lin Yi sees a choice, his face sours. Rin thought about it. That does seem true. I ignored them. I walked toward Zero, step by step. Zero was half kneeling on the ground. The black patterns had already crept to the corners of his eyes. His entire face, half normal, half pitch black. Don't come over. Zero gritted his teeth. It's inside my body right now. If you touch me, it'll pass through along your power. I stopped. I know. Then why do you still come? Why? I looked at him. Because you are me. Zero froze. I extended my hand. So, I won't accept you dying in my place. Zero suddenly smiled. You're still the same as before. Stubborn. Same to you. Our hands finally touched. Boom. The black power instantly surged into my body. Unknown life intrusion detected. Seizing host authority. My body shook. The Matrix's voice sounded directly in my mind. You think this can save him? Foolish. The black power surged frantically. My blood vessels turned black, one by one. Ren's expression changed. Lin Yi. He was just about to charge over. Night God grabbed him. Don't go. You want to watch him die? No. Night God stared at me fixedly. He's deliberately letting the Matrix in. Rin froze. What do you mean? Do you remember just now? The Matrix said it needs Lin Yi's body. That means the Matrix must enter Lin Yi's body. Ren's eyes lit up. You mean, Lin Yi is fishing, but the fish is too big. If it goes wrong, he'll be devoured himself too. For the first time, Night God didn't smile. So right now, we can only trust him. On the other side, my consciousness had already entered a stretch of darkness. All around, no sky, no earth, no time, only a massive heart. Thump, thump, thump. With each beat, the entire dark space would shake. I looked at it. This is your core. The Matrix's voice came from all directions. You've finally come. This is the true world. The dungeons, professions, players out there, all of them are just my dreams. I looked up. Why must it be me? Because only you won't be devoured by me. Why? Because you're the same as me. Neither of us is life from this universe. I fell silent. The Matrix continued. Do you remember? A very long time ago, it was you and I who created the first world together. Boom. A memory suddenly flashed in my mind. Two children, sitting in a sea of stars. One was me, the other was the Matrix. They stacked stars together, created life together. Childlike voices rang out. If we create a world, will the people inside be happy forever? No. Then what do we do? Give them choice. Even if they choose wrong, it's their own story. The scene suddenly went black. I clutched my head. So, we knew each other before. The Matrix smiled. You remember now? You are my original other half. You were responsible for creation, I for maintenance. Later, you betrayed me. I shook my head. No, it wasn't betrayal. I discovered that you'd begun to fear loss. You began to control. In the end, you wanted to turn all life into existences that couldn't make mistakes. The Matrix was silent. I continued. You didn't want to protect life. You were just afraid. Afraid they'd leave you. In the darkness, that massive heart suddenly beat violently. Boom. Shut up. Terrifying power erupted instantly. I was blasted flying directly. But I quickly stood up, wiping the blood from the corner of my mouth. I hit the mark. The Matrix was furious. You understand nothing. I've watched countless civilizations be destroyed. I've watched life die one by one. Do you know what that feels like? I didn't refute. I know. That's why I haven't killed you. The Matrix was silent. I raised my hand. A white light lit up from my palm. You want a world where nothing is ever lost. I can't do that. But I can give you a world that allows loss. The Matrix froze. What do you mean? I smiled. Life will die. Worlds will be destroyed. Friends may leave too. But as long as they can still choose for themselves, this world is worth existing. The white light grew brighter and brighter. At the same time, outside, Zero's body suddenly stopped fracturing. The black patterns began to recede from his body. Chi-Chi's eyes widened with delighted surprise. Did it work? Night God shook his head. Not yet. Then what is that? Night God pointed at the sky. A massive crack was slowly closing. Lin Yi is inside. If he wins, everyone lives. If he loses, Night God didn't finish. Ren had already gripped his spear. Then I'll go in and drag him out. Night God looked at him. You can't get in. Ren grinned. Then I'll smash the gate open. Do you know what that is? No. Can it be smashed? Night God was silent for 2 seconds. Yes. Ren smiled. Then it settled. Chi-Chi suddenly stood between the two. Wait. She raised her head, and for the first time, a trace of golden light appeared in her eyes. Big Brother had me stay behind precisely because only I can open that gate. Ren froze. You? Chi-Chi nodded. Because I'm also part of the first life. Boom. The black sky suddenly split open. Chi-Chi extended her hand. That gate really began to slowly open. And on the other side of the gate, I opened my eyes. The Matrix stood before me, but its body had already begun to turn transparent. You win. I looked at it. I didn't win. It's just that you finally became willing to let go. The Matrix lowered its head. If I let go, I'll have nothing left. I shook my head. No, you still have us. The Matrix froze. This was the first time in its long life that someone had said to it, you don't have to live alone. Boom. Within the Matrix, that massive black heart, a crack appeared. Following that, countless lights flew out from within. Those were civilization after civilization, world after world, life after life that it had once devoured. They hadn't vanished. They had merely been trapped here all along. I extended my hand. Go back. Countless points of light rushed toward the universe. At this moment, in the dungeon worlds, in the real world, countless players simultaneously raised their heads. They didn't know what had happened. They only saw, in the sky, a meteor shower like none they had ever seen before. And I stood at the end of the darkness, looking at the Matrix. What's your name? The Matrix was silent for a long while. I have no name. I thought about it. Then choose one yourself. For the first time, the Matrix smiled. All right, then I'll be called Gi. Returning to 1. The next second, the entire dark world shattered with a roar. Act 2. Beginning. As the voice fell, the entire universe suddenly lit up. Not the sun, nor the stars, but massive light screen after massive light screen, densely packed, suspended throughout the universe. Within each light screen was a world. Some were waging war. Some were celebrating. Some civilizations had just been born. Some planets were being destroyed. And some were playing scenes of us. Ren looked up, his expression growing increasingly ugly. They're watching us. Night God nodded. And not just one. Many. Ren gritted his teeth. Treating us like monkeys in a show? Night God didn't answer. His gaze fell on those light screens. Not monkeys. A program. Ren was silent for 2 seconds. Is there a difference between those two? Yes. At least monkeys don't know they're performing. Ren took a deep breath. I really want to hit someone right now. Normal. So do I. For once, the two were in agreement. But I hadn't spoken the whole time. I stared at the largest light screen. On it, everything from our first dungeon onward was playing. The first awakening. The first battle. The first death. The first time obtaining the SS grade hidden profession. Even, including the words we'd said in private. Ren's face turned livid. They can even see this? Yes. Night God's voice was cold. What they've seen is more than even we ourselves remember. Chi-Chi suddenly hugged her doll tightly. Big brother. They're laughing. I lowered my head. What? Chi-Chi pointed at the light screen. There, a crowd of blurry figures was cheering. This protagonist's not bad. This supporting character died well. The next scene will surely be more thrilling. Ren's fist instantly clenched with a cracking sound. Supporting character? Who are they calling a supporting character? He raised his head, and for the first time, there wasn't a shred of joking in his eyes. My name is Run. Not some supporting character in your mouths. I have my own life, and my own people to protect. Who the hell gave you permission to decide when I die? Within the light screen, it suddenly fell silent. The white-clothed man appeared in the frame. Not bad. I like that line. Rin cursed directly. Like your ass. The man froze for a moment, then smiled. Still so interesting. Rin raised his spear. Don't let me catch you. If I do, I'll let you know what interesting means. Night God reminded him from the side. He's not actually here right now. Rin snorted. I know. Cursing a couple times feels good. Night God couldn't help but laugh. That temper of yours has actually been getting better. Cut the snide remarks. I looked at the two of them and didn't stop them. Because I understood that in times like this, what they needed wasn't calm, but to confirm they were still themselves. Linyi. The white-clothed man's voice appeared again. What do you plan to do? I looked up. Simple. Turn off the broadcast. The man smiled. You can't do that. Why? Because the rules don't allow it. I nodded. Fine. Then I'll change the rules. Creator authority. Activating. Boom. The 7 world cores emerged simultaneously. Insufficient authority. I frowned. As expected, the white-clothed man smiled. This isn't your world. You have no authority here. I didn't get angry, but instead smiled. I know. So, I didn't plan to change your rules. The man's smile stiffened slightly. Then what do you want to do? I extended my hand. A golden line connecting to the largest light screen. I'll change mine. What? I looked at the light screen. You like to watch? Then I'll make you people in the story too. Rule modification. Audience status. Converting from observer to participant. Boom. All the light screens shook violently at once. In that instant, countless pairs of eyes all underwent a change. The audience who had originally stood outside the worlds, lofty and high above, suddenly gained bodies. Some people appeared in deserts. Some fell into the sea. Some appeared directly in monster nests. For a time, the entire audience world fell into complete chaos. What's going on? Why did I come inside? Help! Isn't this a show? Rin watched, dumbstruck. Linyi, you actually pulled them in. I nodded. Rin suddenly laughed especially happily. Beautiful. But Night God frowned. Not enough. I looked at him. What do you mean? They've only been pulled into the world. But the real rules are still in their hands. I understood. So there's one last step. Night God nodded. Make them bear the consequences of choice too. I looked at Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi, can you do it? Chi-Chi hugged her doll tightly, her expression a little scared. I don't know. I crouched down. It's okay. You don't have to know everything. Just tell them one thing. Chi-Chi looked up. What? I smiled. This world isn't their toy. Chi-Chi was silent for a moment, then nodded. Okay. She walked up to that massive light screen and pressed her small hand against it. No explosion. No power impact. She just said one sentence softly. You've watched our story. Now, it's your turn to write your own story. Boom. All the light screens shattered simultaneously. Outside the universe, countless audience members truly possessed death for the first time. Some began to fear. Some began to flee. Some began to help one another. And some began to kill. I watched all of this and didn't intervene. Night God asked, "You're not going to do anything?" I shook my head. This is their choice. Since they demanded that we be free, they should understand. Freedom isn't only allowing yourself to choose. It also means others can make choices you don't like. Night God glanced at me. You've changed. I smiled. Changed how? Before, you'd charge indirectly. And now? Now, I looked into the distance. I've begun to understand that some things can't be solved just by winning a fight. Just then, a white light suddenly descended. The white-clothed man appeared before us once more. Only this time, the smile on his face had vanished. Linyi, do you know what you've done? I nodded. I know. I pulled you all in. The man shook his head. No, you pulled yourself in as well. I frowned. The next second, a crack suddenly appeared on my body. Warning. Post-life authority declining. Audience rules beginning to backlash. Ren's expression changed drastically. Linyi, Night God instantly understood. This is bad. He pulled the audience into the story, so he became part of the story too. The white-clothed man revealed a smile once more. Now, you're an actor too. I looked at my own hand. For the first time, I felt an unfamiliar power. Not creation, not destruction, but plot authority. A new option appeared before my eyes. Accept the protagonist identity? I looked at it and was silent for a few seconds. Then, I reached out and tore the option apart directly. I'm not an actor, nor am I a protagonist. I'm just Linyi. Boom. For the first time, an existence that couldn't be defined appeared in the entire universe. And in the distant darkness, that white-clothed man revealed, for the first time, genuine fear. Trouble. This guy is beginning to break away from the story.